Alright, we should be live. Sorry about that wait. Had to flipper through a few things around here because I had all my windows in different places. Because obviously I have a lot of other stuff that I need to look at when Ryan is live. But we are here now on the Mr.Dibble channel. I think a lot of you are probably going to be new, so just a quick tour of what we're working with down here. Down beneath me and on the bottom of the screen, that is the same warning overlay that Ryan uses. We're going to get all those same updates, and then up above me, you can see that this is special for just hurricanes. Up at the top, we have Hurricane Milton and all of the information associated with that from the National Hurricane Center. In the middle there, we have the last drops on information from the hurricane hunters. And then down at the bottom, we just have a little snippet about all of the evacuations that are going on associated with this storm right now. Oh, YouTube Studio says my stream's dropping frames, but I don't think it is. It likes to lie. So I don't know if I'm going to believe it. It seems like it's fine for the most part. How's it going, everyone? Welcome in, Be Kind. Welcome in, Dale. Welcome in, the Fat Man. Welcome back, Soli. Yeah, Nikki, I saw that. There was actually we were talking to other people who are in Florida and would actually be in the position to turn it into a contraflow situation. And I know that they technically said in 2017 that they're going to be done doing that. But there was still some talk of it happening, and for whatever reason, they did have state troopers moving north on the southbound side of the highway, so that's kind of where those talks were coming about. Where can I see the cams on the shed? You can see those in the Radar Omega app. I don't think I can show them here because I'm not associated with Radar Omega, and you have to have permission to be able to show them, but the camera with the shed, that is this camera right here. Need to pull up my pen that I have to write on my screen. Don't have that open yet. Welcome in, everyone. Hey, Fat Man, thank you for becoming a 2% member. I'm pretty sure that's the first channel member we've had since the last storm chasing live stream, which was this spring. So thank you for becoming a new member and one of the newest members to the Mr.Dibble channel. Where's Caleb? Right now, Caleb is in the Tampa Bay area. He's working on positioning for the Y'all Squad. We're setting up our stuff there and getting ready to set that up as soon as the hurricane is done. We already have our trailer down there with a bunch of supplies loaded up, food, and we're probably going to have a couple of other people make their way down there to help out with that. How do you get the cameras to show up on Radar Omega? Great question. So if you come over here, this is all of your options that you have in the app here. Down here under the Cyclone Port Network, toggle on Project Mesavort. Those are going to be specifically the Storm Surge probe cameras, and this Cyclone Port camera, or the Cyclone Port tab, that is a bunch of other cameras that they have spread out around the country. Welcome in, Stefan. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, we're going to continue the information that Ryan was talking about here. Obviously, you knew a lot more than just talking about the hurricane hunters. That's what I normally do on Ryan's feeds because we have Andy, who is a really, really good meteorologist doing a lot of the other stuff, and Elijah focusing on the news. But here it's going to be just me trying to focus on all of those stuff. We do have Jared helping out in the background, I think. We had him helping out last night. He sort of just points me in the general direction if he catches things in chat that I don't see. Do you have a Y'all bot? No, I don't have a Y'all bot yet. Very, very unfortunate. It's just me so far. I could set up ChatGPT to do my Y'all bot, but so far we don't have that. If I become a 30% member, will you play Fortnite with me? I haven't played Fortnite in a very, very long time, but if you became a 30% member, we could definitely have that conversation. Welcome in, Tiger Lily. What was the cam link to watch the cameras in Inglewood or other places? Those are the Cyclone Port cameras. Those are the ones that you can see right here. Radar Omega puts those out all over the region every time we have a hurricane making landfall. Will this come to South Florida? Yes, it will most definitely come to South Florida. You can see that Central Florida is where we have the majority of our hurricane warnings, but down here, the entirety of Southern Florida is under tropical storm warnings and or and or storm surge warnings. Obviously, it's not going to be extreme as it is in Central Florida, but you're still going to feel the effects of this thing down there. Christopher Coleman, thank you so much for becoming a 2% member. And welcome as the 15th member to the Mr.Dibble channel. If you guys see me writing around or looking at my monitors here, I apologize. I'm doing all of my overlay myself, so I have to update all of this stuff. I have a text file that updates this stuff here, and as well as a bunch of other stuff to look at. What is all of that energy out in front of the hurricane? So this is actually a part of the hurricane. We normally see this with hurricanes where we have this nice long finger of convection out into the front and as well as the back. That's actually the outflow from the hurricane. And normally over here in the northeast portion of the hurricane, we just see a little bit of extra convection. What's your opinion on weather manipulation? I think it's really, really funny how people think that that's even a possibility. These storms are more powerful than anyone could possibly imagine. In order to manipulate the weather, you would have to have like somewhere around 5,000 atomic bombs of energy every single second. Everything in the world is an energy issue, mostly, and there's just no way to harness enough energy to actually control the weather. It's crazy how strong these storms or how strong these storms actually are. No Y'allbot, please. Yeah, we're probably not gonna rock a Y'allbot here. Yeah, I play F1 games. I actually have my... Hold on, I'll grab it. I have my good old steering wheel right under the desk at all times. Oh, there's too many cables caught on stuff, but I have a steering wheel under my desk that I plug into my computer sometimes, and I normally sit here playing with my foot pedals the entire time that I'm sitting here. It's a great fidget toy. Joseph, thank you for becoming a 5% member. You can't find the cameras on the Radar Omega app. You have to make sure you have that layer toggled on. It's the Project Mesovort layer. Melody, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Melody, it's been a long time since we talked, but I know you've been a mod in the Discord for a long time. How you doing? Did the hurricane break up? No, definitely not. We actually had a period last night where it went through an eyewall replacement cycle and momentarily dropped down to a Category 4 hurricane, but we are now back to a Category 5 hurricane with maximum sustained winds at 165 miles an hour, and we're expecting it to hang around that for a little bit of time. Where's the wind shear coming from? The wind shear is all associated with our jet stream, and that jet stream will work to rip apart this hurricane and broaden it out, weakening the overall maximum winds, but it will stretch it out and the overall wind field will be bigger. Evelyn Pretty, thank you so much for becoming a 5% member. How many new members is that already? 3? That's insane. Thank you guys so much for becoming members. Thank you for all of the new subscribers. Thank you for everyone who's watching right now. How's it going, WHNSI? Greetings from Germany. Greetings from Central United States. I think our hurricane hunters, they're out here right now. They're on their way back into this thing, so pretty soon here we'll see them make a left-hand turn and make another pass through the eye. We have 2 planes out right now. We actually just got another drop sonde from the National Hurricane Center. It looks like our minimum central pressure is down to 910 millibars. There's some interesting notes on this, but I don't exactly know what they mean. Down here at the bottom it says Peter Dodge HX Psi 1950 to 2023 387th penny. No idea what that means, but that was an interesting thing that the hurricane hunters added on. It looks like our maximum gusts are now at 179 miles an hour. That is the flight level winds, and that is also our maximum sustained wind speed. What streaming software do you use? I use the normal OBS, just OBS Studio. Stephen Rudolph, thank you so much for becoming a 2% member. Rhonda Ann, thank you so much for becoming a 5% member. Holy crap, that's 5 new members already. That is actually insane. What is the X in the middle of the radar? So this is an overlay that is an option on the Radar Omega app. This is the line of the hurricane hunters and what they've done and where they've flown the plane so far. Every single one of these barbs is relative to a wind speed. So this one that you're seeing right here, that is 153 knots. The wind barb looks a little bit like this, and each line on the wind barb represents 10 knots, and then each triangle equals 50 knots. So right here where we're seeing these 3 triangles and 2.5 lines, that would be 125 mile an hour or 125 knot winds. Are we safe in the Keys? It depends. You're only gonna be getting in on the tropical storm force winds. However, there is still going to be some storm surge, so you want to make sure you're staying away from coastal regions, as those could go underwater. What? How bad will it be in Tampa? Tampa, that's basically ground zero in terms of how intense this thing's going to be. Luckily, our path is starting to shift off to the south, so we're not going to see the extreme storm surge that we once had the possibility of seeing. It's going to be slightly weaker than that, but you are still going to get in on those strongest hurricane force winds that this thing is going to bring, and you're still going to have significant storm surge, probably around 10 to 15 feet in the Tampa Bay region. I believe I saw someone asking about Bradenton. It's going to be basically the same thing there. Rita was rough. Yeah, Rita was rough. I've seen a lot of people comparing this thing to Rita. Personally, I don't like comparing hurricanes because every hurricane is different. It makes a big difference, even 10 to 15 miles north to south, and where it makes landfall. My girlfriend is in Orange City and is panicked. Let's take a look at Orange City in a little more detail here. So that is right there. Obviously pretty far inland. You're not going to be dealing with the storm surge, but you're still going to have a lot of hurricane forced winds. It's going to get rough there, but it's not going to be overly concerning. You are going to have a ton of rain and a ton of wind. I would advise that you just stay away from windows and exterior walls of the house, just in case a tree comes down or something like that. And if you are close to a body of water, expect that you are going to see flooding, and that's going to raise the river or the stream or the lake or whatever. And if you're too close, it could make its way onto your property, and in the worst case scenario, into your house. First time viewer already feels chill and thorough. Yeah, Ryan's streams, those are like, there's a lot of action going on there. I'm normally a lot more chill, but I try and get across just as much information, definitely in a slightly different way though. Y'all need to mention that you have to have a subscription now for the Mesovort cameras. I didn't know that, actually. I remember when they first released the Mesovort cameras, you didn't need a subscription. Lake Okoboji. Same sort of situation here, just outside the hurricane force winds, but you're still going to be in on those upper level tropical storm force winds, so watch out for flooding from the rainfall and the tropical storm force winds. Around 1,000 people watching? No way. What's my YouTube studio say? YouTube studio says we're at 686. That is the most concurrent viewers I've ever had. So thank you to you guys. Going to update the overlay here real quick to have that Hurricane Hunters data in it. 910 millibars. That is a 13 millibar change from the lowest we've seen it at 8 a.m. Central today. And the max flight level winds are now at 179 miles an hour or 156 knots. Still have a closed eye wall. The reason that we're looking at the eye wall is if we see an eye wall open up or we start to see the formation of a second eye wall, that would be an indication that we are going to go through another eye wall replacement cycle pretty soon. Do you think Fort Myers will be bad? Yeah, I mean, basically anywhere south of this line from Apalachicola to Jacksonville, there's going to be a period of time where it's really, really windy. So definitely be prepared for that. Yeah, Ryan actually came up with the channel name at Mr.Dibble. So that's what we go by. My dad is technically the real Mr.Dibble, but I stole it from him. Yeah, Nikki, we're definitely on the downtrend. We're starting to weaken from The strongest it got, which was over here, if it will let me click it, this was the strongest it got after it went through the original eye wall replacement cycle, and we are on the downtrend now, which is of course a really, really good thing. We just got the 15A update from the National Hurricane Center, and they're actually saying that this thing still has a minimum central pressure of 902 millibars. I don't know where they're getting that from, I'm going to be completely honest, but that is actually significantly stronger than what we thought it was. That puts it a lot closer to what it was over here, actually 3 millibars weaker than what it was at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Have you ever been through a hurricane? No, personally I have not. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've been in the edge of a hurricane a couple of times. We were in Virginia once, I was in Virginia with my mom and brother, and I think we just got on the outside edge of a hurricane while we were there. My mom's in here. She'll probably recall something about that if it did happen. Are you in school, Riley? Yeah, I'm going to University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, studying water resources. How high is the storm in atmosphere in feet? Let me see if we can take a look at that. That one's kind of harder to tell, at least with Radar Omega, but we can take a look at it with, this right here. This is a 3D scan of the storm. It's a really, really tall storm, and we're getting around that point that we got last night where the storm can't grow any taller. It's reaching about the maximum potential height. Are you a meteorologist? I think someone asked that. No, I'm not a meteorologist. I've just been interested in weather my entire life. And I've just learned about it over and over again. How does a dropson determine what the wind speed is? Is it always reported at the same altitude? We're going to come over to the wonderful drawing board that the Atlantic Ocean is over here. And there's a really scientific name for what a dropson is in terms of how it calculates wind data. But it's like a something drift probe. So basically there's a GPS tracker in this thing, and as it falls through the atmosphere, it will be blown by the wind direction, and you can take points along that line and calculate how quickly it moved from point to point, and that will tell you how fast the wind speeds are, because it's completely relative to the movement of that probe is completely relative to the environment that it's in. Yeah, I'm surprised that they're saying it's getting stronger too. I still believe that it's probably on the downtrend. Let me update my overlay here quick with that new pressure data. 902. I wonder, yeah, here, just updated here. That's our new eye, 165 mile an hour sustained. That is going to be 200 mile per hour max gust down to 902 millibars. That is still a Category 5 hurricane. Data Sickness, thank you so much for that $10 donation. Keep up the good old work. I went through Hurricane Wilma in Cocoa Beach. I was there for a wedding. It was like a tornado that never stopped. Yeah, that's basically a really good way to explain what a hurricane is. It's as strong as a tornado, but even more spread out. There's a lot more of that wind. Also, sorry that I'm getting jumbled up when I'm reading the chat. It's really, really small on my monitor, so I have to really look at it to read it. We're about to hit 7,000 subs. We are at like 600 or 6,300 this morning. Yeah, we're at 6,958 right now. I saw you on Ryan Hall stream. Yeah, that's where a lot of people know me from. I do a bunch of stuff in the back end of that. I've been there for a long time, since November of 2021. I wish I had an ad-free members live stream. Ads shouldn't be on, but for whatever reason, like, I tell my YouTube studio, don't run ads, and then it'll just start cranking ads. So it's some weird glitch. I contacted creator support about it, and they have not gotten back to me. JJ, welcome in. Thank you for subscribing. I'm pretty sure that I wish there was a way that you could make it so people or members don't have ads. I know YouTube, not YouTube, Twitch has that, but I don't think YouTube does. They are on, but very quick ads. That's good. Ads annoy me, and I don't like watching ads. So if I do have ads on, I always have them on the minimum. So I think that they're set. The minimum would be like every hour. So hopefully they're not too bad. Yeah, they better be paying up. If they're running ads, they best be paying up. My whole 6 cents. Of course, we're not here for the money. We're here for the fun. But you're getting ads every 5 minutes on the dot? Okay. That's annoying. Let me look into that. Edit. Yeah, mid-roll ads are off. Can you quickly explain how Storm Surge works? Yes. Back to the Atlantic Ocean over here. So if this... Oop, I want my big pen. If this is the center of a hurricane, that is the center of low pressure, and we also have counterclockwise wind speeds, or wind motion around this hurricane. So what this does is it's pulling all of the water from over here and slinging it up in this direction, and this in this in association with the low pressure of the hurricane works to create a giant wall of water that it just throws up onto land when it makes a landfall. What we're seeing here with almost a perpendicular landfall with the coast, that is a worst case scenario for storm surge. Yeah, exactly what Frank just said. YouTube puts ads on everything, even if they don't make money from them, because YouTube wants their money, man. It's crazy. I don't think I even have the option to turn like pre-rolls and post-rolls off with the size of my channel. They just like run them, and they're like, here you go, ads. But trust me, I hate ads too. I actually, when I'm watching like my own live streams back to try and see how I can make them better, I get ads. It's like, I know I don't have ads on, but they're still running ads, so I know what that's like. I know what that's like. Yeah, 2021, that's when a lot of people started to find Ryan, I think. That's when his channel really took off. Yeah, the ads are definitely getting longer, RG5. I was watching YouTube the other day, and they gave me like 3 unskippable ads. I was like, what in the world? Storm surge is like a wind-driven tsunami. Yeah, that's one way you can put it. I've heard a lot of people compare it to that. Obviously, the two are quite different in terms of how they form, but it's basically a wall of water that's pushed by the wind instead of a tectonic plate. What is the radius of the storm right now? If it hits towards Venice, we may choose to evacuate. Let me turn on the wind fields here, and we can take a look at how wide they are. So what we're seeing here in the red, that is your hurricane force wind field. The yellow is your tropical storm sustained winds, and then the green is anything that is a tropical storm gust. So it looks like our hurricane force wind field has a diameter of 56.49 miles right now. Our tropical storm force wind field has a diameter of 90.79 miles. And at the longest point, because it's kind of egg-shaped, it looks like our tropical storm force gusts has a radius of 228 miles. Is it true that the pressure is dropping? So the last National Hurricane Center update did show that the pressure was down to 902 millibars. Well, just a little bit earlier, it was around 920 millibars. So it is dropping, but most of that is associated with the fact that we have completed our eyewall replacement cycle over the past 18 hours. So the pressure is going to drop, but the most recent messages from the Hurricane Hunter's drop sondes have showed that it is actually slightly weakening. And it looks like we did just get another pass through that shows 910 millibars. So that is a... Let me see how much of a change that is from earlier. That is a 13 millibar change from the 923 millibars that we saw before the hurricane finished making its or finish its eye wall replacement cycle. What is the eye wall replacement? So the eye wall of a hurricane, it's not perfectly stable, and sooner or later there's another eye wall that forms around the outside of the inner eye wall. So what that is, that's what eye wall replacement is. So eventually we're going to see this inner eye wall break itself apart, and when that happens, the hurricane loses its center of low pressure, and the pressure will rapidly shoot up. Out your ears. Is the overlay too loud? Last night you could like barely hear it, but it seems like for whatever reason everything's way louder today. I just turned it way down, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Sanibel Island, how much storm surge? That is over here. That is going to be anywhere in the 8 to 12 foot storm surge region. Let me grab the National Hurricane Center's storm surge inundation map here. And it is not working. We'll just grab their peak surge graphic right here. So this is what the peak storm surge forecast is supposed to look like. We can see regions from the, once again with the hard to pronounce rivers, and Clotty River to Inglewood. That's going to be the maximum area of storm surge with 10 to 15 feet. Inglewood to Bonita Beach, 8 to 12 feet. Bonita Beach to Chocoloxy, 5 to 8 feet. And then anywhere down here is going to be relatively in the 3 to 5 foot region. The Keys are only looking at 1 to 3 feet. Do we have the WC-130s flying through it? Yeah, there is one of them out there right now, I believe. And then we also have the P-3 Orion out there. Also, another water thing I want to mention briefly is our expected rainfall. We are going to be seeing a lot of rain from this thing. The Weather Prediction Center has issued that high risk for excessive rainfall. That is a very, very rare thing. The last high risk was the flooding in North Carolina. It's not going to be as bad as the flooding in North Carolina, for sure. We're not going to see the event that happened there with the rain being thrown into the Appalachian Mountains, because there's no mountains in Florida. In fact, Florida is the exact opposite of mountains. But we still could see a widespread region of rain greater than 8 inches, up all the way up to the 16-inch mark. Madeira Beach, let's take a look at that. So you guys are right here north of Tampa. You guys are going to be getting in on probably the northern side of our eye wall once we see this thing make landfall. And you're going to be getting a lot of surge there. So if you're anywhere in the coastal regions of this part, which I believe this entire town is on the coast, you will most likely be completely underwater right around when this thing makes landfall. And Clote, all right, got it. Got it. That now, see, now that you said that and I look at it, that's exactly how it should have been said. What do you think about the y'all bot on Ryan's stream? Knowing Ryan, that is like the most Ryan thing ever. Ryan loves his artificial intelligence. Hey, if Frank doesn't know how to pronounce these names, that means I shouldn't have to know how to pronounce these names. He's lived in Florida his entire life. Also, let me show this real quick. We just hit, I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it, but 7,000 subscribers. Wow. Honestly, when I started this channel, I didn't even think like there'd be this many people here to watch this, but 7,000 subscribers is insane. Is the storm shifting south? So what we're seeing right now is the normal wobbling of a hurricane. It does look like our official NHC center line in the cone has taken a more southerly projection, but anywhere inside of basically this region here, you can still expect to have a chance at the eye wall making landfall there. Brian better be careful or y'all bot is going to take his job. Yeah, he's talked multiple times about how eventually he could probably just have AI do his job. Just AI Ryan Hall live 24/7. Only gonna grow bigger? I hope so. I like talking to all you guys. It's a lot more fun to talk to people about this weather that's going on instead of just sitting here with no one to talk to about it, staring at it endlessly. How's it going, Sabrina? How bad will West Palm be? You guys are right here, and you guys are going to be getting in on the tropical storm force winds for sure. There's going to be a little bit of storm surge from this as we see the hurricane make its way over Florida. There's still going to be a wall of water that's being pulled apart or pulled into shore around here, but it's definitely not going to be that 10 to 15 feet. You're looking at more to 1 to 3 feet. So nothing concerning, but still stay away from the oceans. Currents are going to be strong. Discord link? I don't think the Discord server is ready to launch yet. I can look though. I have it made. I just need to get Dino set up, so we'll probably have that sometime in the next couple of days. It's trending south again. It's kind of trending south, but at the same time, it's taking a pretty hard northern wobble, and I don't know how far south it's going to come. It will come a little bit further south. Hurricanes wobble back and forth all the time. But the question is, how far south is it going to be? And I mean, that's the reason why we have the cone from the National Hurricane Center. Let me turn that on quick. This is the cone. This is basically taking historical storms and saying this is how much we have been off in historical hurricanes making landfall. So anywhere in this region here, you could still get the center of pressure, so that would be the center of the eye going over that area. So if you're in the cone, assume that it's going to make landfall in your area. How far south could it go? Basically Cape Coral is, or Cape Coral, that's as far south as we think that the center is going to go, but there's still going to be the impacts of this felt much further south of this. Anywhere down here in southern Florida is going to be feeling the impacts from this. Our plane's on the way back in. Osprey, Florida. You guys are right here. You guys are right on the beach and ground zero for storm surge. You're going to be looking at a 10 to 15 foot wall of water. Probably the strongest winds that this thing is going to be producing, which right now are expected to be around that 125 mile per hour sustained and 155 mile per hour gusts. The villages. Let's see if I search up the villages. Hey, that does come up. You guys are much further inland, so you're not going to be dealing with the storm surge, obviously, and you're probably not going to get hit by the eye of the storm. However, there is still the chance, but when we see this thing start to get ripped apart by shear, the hurricane force wind field is going to get bigger, and that's why you guys remain under that hurricane warning. Just north of Fort Myers, yeah, I could totally see that happening. I think it's probably going to wobble just a little further north of the line that they have right now and probably make its landfall, technical landfall, somewhere around Longboat Key, right in this area. But we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to see exactly where that's going to make landfall. Way stronger than 125 miles an hour? Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. We really don't know. We really don't know what's going to go on. Fun fact, I'm not sure you know, satellite views don't work at night on Radar Omega. Actually, I think what you're talking about is a visible satellite, and no visible satellite works at night, and that's because there's no light. There's nothing visible. So that's why we're using the long wave IR, because that is able to see through the darkness and still get us good information. Laura, thank you for that message. Thanks for watching. I think one day ago it was supposed to be a category 4 around this time. This still might have been in the category 5 area, but it's not doing anything too unexpected at this point in time. This is kind of what we thought was going to happen. So we got a new update from the Hurricane Hunters with a 907 millibar pressure, but that was an extrapolated quantity. They didn't have a drop sonde, so I'm going to leave the information above me as the last drop sonde data. How's Orlando looking? You are in the basically middle of the hurricane warnings. You're definitely going to get in on the hurricane force winds. Expect a lot of rainfall, a lot of gusty winds, and probably widespread power outages. Welcome in, Rachel. Yes, it is a Category 5, and our eye right now is about 14 miles wide. So a lot wider than it was last night. Northport, we basically talked about the Northport area last time we were up here, but this is the same thing that we were talking about, where this is basically going to be ground zero for the most significant storm surge. You're looking at anywhere from 10 to 15 feet of storm surge, the strongest of the hurricane force winds, and all of that sort of stuff. 907 not weakening. Yeah, I saw that, but I don't really trust the extrapolated numbers. They're good, but this hurricane, they've been like all over the place. We saw yesterday the extrapolated was 8 millibars higher than what the drop sonde showed, and then today we had an extrapolated surface value be 4 millibars lower than what the drop sonde showed. So as far as the information above my head, we're going to stick to the drop sondes because that is the visible, or that is the observed data values. Yeah, I think the narrowest our eye was last night was half a mile. I'm pretty sure I saw that statistic on Twitter, which is very, very, very tight in terms of a hurricane eye. I think it was actually one of the smallest hurricane eyes ever recorded. It's, Chris, for the most part, it's been uptrending so far today, but we did see after it finished its eye wall replacement cycle, it started dropping again, but we're at the point where it's basically sustaining itself or weakening. Pinellas County. Storm surge map. Let me pull up a different storm surge map. So this is what we are expecting the storm surge to look like for that area. Ignore anything north and south of this line. The way this map works is it's showing the Category 5 storm surge for all of the areas on this map, but in terms of the strongest storm surge, we're looking at this area here. So anything that you see on this map that is colored whatsoever will likely be underwater tomorrow when this thing makes landfall. When do the hunters stop flying? When their plane runs out of gas, they go home, but until their plane is out of gas, they're not going to go home. And as soon as we see one of the other planes go in, they're going to send another one out. Yeah, the eye wall being perfectly circular like this is something that you only see with the strongest of hurricanes, and obviously this being a Category 5 hurricane is incredibly rare, and it's definitely one of the stronger hurricanes we've seen in a very, very long time. It's actually the fourth strongest hurricane ever recorded in the Atlantic area. The Gulf of Mexico is part of the Atlantic, by the way, in terms of hurricanes. After Florida, this system is going to become a extratropical cyclone, and it's just going to go off into the Atlantic. We're not going to have any other major landfalls with it. It's going to weaken. It's not going to be a hurricane anymore, but it is going to go through the Bermuda area as a post-tropical cyclone, or an extratropical cyclone. Late Wednesday, that is when we're expecting landfall. This right here, this is at 1 a.m. on Thursday. Landfall has been trending later over and over again, so it's probably going to happen at like 1:47 a.m. tomorrow. That's in Central Time, I believe. Yeah, I think the forecasts are in Central. They might be in Eastern. It's oddly quiet. Yeah, it's going to be quiet for some time. until we see this thing get a lot closer to Florida, it's just going to be this continued phase of just watching what this storm is doing, trying to figure out where it's going to go. Cape Coral, we talked about you guys earlier. You're going to be getting in on a lot of the major storm surge, the tropical storm force winds. You're looking at around, let me pull it up quick so I don't say the wrong number. You're looking at around 8 to 12 feet of storm surge and a ton of rain, up to about 10 inches of rain. Yeah, forecasts aren't Eastern, but sometimes Radar Omega will show it in the local time zone. This is the Radar Omega app. That's what we're looking at this on right now. Harbor Heights. The closest Harbor Heights that's coming up is in South Carolina. So definitely not going to get in on any of the impacts of this storm. Yeah, it's really hard to see when it's making landfall or how big the storm surge is at night. The best thing that you can do is look at water lines on things like telephone poles, houses, and other things like that. Lisa West, thank you so much for becoming a 2% channel member and the 7th member of the night. We've basically doubled the amount of channel members that we've had tonight. Charlotte Harbor, you're looking at 8 to 12 feet of storm surge and hurricane force winds. This gray patch, it's definitely not that significant. There's going to be some gusty winds in there, but the main thing that would be associated with this is a very, very slight tornado potential. Landfall is roughly 24 to 36 hours from now. It's going to happen sometime at like 2 a.m. on Thursday. Rachel, that's a good idea. If you're evacuating, switch your voicemail recording to provide information on who you are and where you're going. Robert, I'm going for a water resources degree. It's basically hydrology and a mix of other things related to water. Basically everything after water falls out of the sky. $921. That's definitely not going to be the lowest that we see from this Hurricane Hunter's flight. It looks like they're not in the center of the eye, but what we're going on with the what's going on with the satellite data here, it's further north because the satellite isn't directly over top, so it's actually pushed off. So they're in the center of the storm right now, but it doesn't look like that on radar. Lisa, thank you so much for upgrading your 2% membership to a 5% membership. Robert, no, it's not a meteorology degree. There's a lot of stuff you can learn about meteorology without going to school. A lot of the resources for meteorology are actually online. There's a website called MetEd that has a ton of information that you'd learn in college. They actually use it in college classes. But yeah, flood mitigation, that's what I'm interested in. Sydney, I learned all of this by watching Convective Chronicles on YouTube, just consuming a bunch of random weather information on the internet, and there's a bunch of other sites. If you guys are in Orion's Discord channel, there's a list of stuff that I put together there, and that's basically where I learned all of the stuff that I know about weather. It looks like our extrapolated surface data there is basically 911 millibars, so that is weaker than our last fly through. Pretty soon here in the next 15 minutes to half hour, we'll get a drop sonde from this aircraft. Yeah, I've been in the weather community as long as I can remember. I've always been interested in weather, and that kind of just fueled the passion for what we're doing here and what I'm doing for Ryan. Griffin, that's a possibility. I don't really know where I'm gonna go yet in terms of where I'm gonna work, but I could end up somewhere around there. I heard you explain the barriers around the Tampa Bay hospital. Yeah, we can talk about those. I'll go back over to the Atlantic drawing board over here. So basically, we talked about this briefly last night, but they have a wall, and it just looks like a wall. And then on the back side, it's got bolts that anchor it into the concrete. It's got straps that keep the wall tight. And then on the front side, they have a giant, another giant portion of this wall, and this one also has those anchors in it. And what this does is it keeps it on the ground. The height of the water is very, very, very heavy when it's on this thing, and it keeps the wall itself anchored into the ground to make sure it doesn't collapse. What happens if the eye wall stabilizes instead of breaking down? That just doesn't normally happen with hurricanes. I mean, it's possible, and that would mean that it's a little bit stronger at landfall, but it's probably still going to go through another eye wall replacement cycle some point here in the relatively near future. How did Ryan find you? So I actually reached out to Ryan back in 2021 with an idea basically for this warning overlay at the bottom of the screen, and that's when I started working for him. Can a house stay dry during a flood? I mean, if it's above the water level, yeah, but if it's beneath the water level, it's obviously gonna get wet. How many years into college are you? I'm in my 3rd year, 1st semester. Do the planes have a special software to adjust for extreme changes in wind speed and directions? Yeah, the planes are, all the software on those planes is completely custom, and the biggest factor of the storm or the plane being stable is just the pilots. The pilots are insane. Yeah, Griffin, it's like that a lot of times where the strongest force against water is water itself. You see that with dams. The thing that stabilizes a dam is actually the water on the other side of it. Teal 73 is out? How far are they? I think that's this one. Yep, they're going to probably be making another pass back into this thing pretty soon. Jason, I don't know what that channel is. Rachel, there's actually a video that the Hurricane Hunters posted on Twitter that shows what it was like inside of that storm. I'll go ahead and pull that up quick. So this is from yesterday when the Hurricane Hunters were going through this thing. This is what it looked like inside of the plane. Obviously, it's really bumpy. You can see the pilots doing anything they can to keep this plane going in a perfectly straight line into the storm. But you can see them bouncing around here. There's actually a moment of zero gravity right there. And this is what it's like inside of these storms. And this person right here holding this phone, I actually saw this perspective earlier on TikTok. I don't remember what the channel was, but this video is on TikTok somewhere. If you look up Hurricane Hunters, it'll probably come up. How much water is Cape Coral going to get? You guys are looking at 8 to 12 feet of storm surge. Pretty soon here it's going to pan over, because right now you can see the plane is starting to chill out, and it's going to pan the video because they were using a 360-degree camera, and they are inside the eye of the hurricane. There you can see the surface of the ocean, the obvious clearing, and the blue sky above. But that is what it looks like to fly through the eye wall of a Category 5 hurricane. How How do you get on to the Hurricane Hunters? So there's actually two groups of Hurricane Hunters, one with the Air Force and one with the National Weather Service, or NOAA. It's not really possible, I think, to get on that, really. There's very few people who do it, but it is possible, and I think you basically just have to be a really good pilot and a really good scientist. Crystal, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I think that brings us up to 20 channel members. Let me look. It'd be crazy if we hit 7,000 subscribers and 20 channel members in the same day. Channel members hasn't updated yet, but we're right around that 20 channel member mark. Big Red, it depends on when it happens. Ideally, we'd see an eyewall replacement cycle happen right around here, because that means when the hurricane makes landfall, it will be weaker because it doesn't have an organized core. But it's possible that if we see a earlier eyewall replacement cycle and it starts happening around right here and it finishes by somewhere around there, that this storm will keep its shape as it makes its way up to landfall, and then that would mean that it would be stronger than if it waited to make that, or it waited to make an eyewall replacement cycle. Fox Valley, thank you so much for becoming a 2% member. That, I'm gonna say that's probably the 20th member of the channel. So welcome to the channel, and thank you guys so much for breaking our all-time record channel members, which was 19. You sent me the other Hurricane Hunter video. I'll pull that up real quick. So this was the Hurricane Hunter video from earlier today. This is actually from the back of the plane, so this is a whole new angle. Oh my god. 25 members now. Thank you so much, Rhonda, for the 5 gifted memberships. You guys are actually crazy. Oh wow. Stuff's going everywhere. That's definitely a Category 5 hurricane for you. Yeah, Jared's a member now. Welcome, Jared. Everyone say thank you to Rhonda Ann for the 5 gifted memberships. Oh, and here they go, dropping a drop sonde out that tube there that's in the middle of the plane. What's your X handle? Joseph, my X is at Simco12_WX. Jared has a link, and I think Jared will post it here in a second. Looks like they're almost in the eye here. They have more computing power on that plane than like every computer I've ever built combined. Carol, thank you so much for becoming a 2% channel member. Welcome to all the new members today, guys. We'll post or come up with some sort of special members only video for you guys over the next few days here. Faith, welcome in. Yeah, yep, there they are in the eye of the hurricane. You can see the ocean, you can see the sky. Big Red, we are probably getting closer to eyewall replacement here. You can see that it's getting a little more raggedy on satellite. Still nothing from the Hurricane Hunters on whether or not it has 2 eyewalls. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that update soon. By golly, Ollie, thank you so much for becoming a 2% channel member. Thank you to all the new subscribers and all the new channel members. There's been a ton of you guys today. We've already passed our, I think we passed the amount of views that we had on yesterday's 4-hour stream in the 1 hour we've been live today, so that's crazy. And of course, we blew our peak concurrent viewer record out of the water. If I had a ticket to a Hurricane 100 plane, I ain't giving that to no one. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm doing that myself. That's like one of, if not the biggest dream for all weather fans. Yeah, Griffin, you're right. If it goes through an eyewall replacement cycle, it's not gonna be as strong, and that's because as it comes out of that eyewall replacement cycle, it's gonna be in the area of the most extreme wind shear. And obviously you can't really strengthen when you're under the wind shear. It takes a hurricane and it pushes it apart. Cupcake, what do you mean by that? How do you become a member? There should be like down there next to the subscribe button. After you subscribe to the channel, it should become a join button. You click that join button. But don't feel like you have to become a channel member. This plane here, this one might be done with passes through the eye. It might make one more pass, but it looks like they're not flying the butterfly pattern. It looks like they're flying the alpha pattern, which focuses more on what's going on around the storm instead of inside of the storm. I know one of our planes is flying an alpha pattern and the other one's flying a butterfly pattern. Sorry. But an alpha pattern only makes 2 passes through the eye about 2 hours apart. Let's actually run a poll and see how many people would give the ticket up or keep it. All right, everyone vote on the poll. Let's get a official record of who would give up that ticket and who would not. With how much has changed over the past 2 to 3 hours, how much of a hit do you think Celebration in Kimisi would take? Let's pull up Celebration. You guys are quite a bit inland. It does look like it's starting to trend south of your location, so less of a hit than you would take if it came further off to the north, but still it's going to be significant. There's going to be hurricane force winds and up to 12 to 15 inches of rain. You know, this poll is a lot more even than I thought it would be. We're at 40-60 right now. There's no way I would give that up. I would have to do it. Oh, did I word it poorly? Give up the ticket. For sure means I ain't going on that flight. Absolutely not means I'm keeping that ticket. We're going on the plane. How fast is the hurricane traveling? As of our last National Hurricane Center update, we're moving east-northeast. Moving at 10 mile per hour or 17 kilometers an hour. It looks like 39% of you said give up the ticket, and 61% of you said you're going on that plane. I'm with the 61% on this. Crystal, my girlfriend would definitely be concerned if I was on that plane for sure too. Holy shit. Sorry. Pardon my language. Chase just became the first 45 hatched member on the channel. That is a $45 channel membership. Chase, I want to give you a very special shout out. You are the first 45 hatched channel member we have ever had on the channel. The very first one. And you are now the highest supporter of the Mr. Dibble channel. So thank you so much. Gotta play Fortnite with Chase now? Yeah, Chase, DM me on Twitter, and we can figure something out. I might have to re-download the game and play it for the first time in literally forever, but becoming a 45 Hatch channel member deserves something special. Everyone say W Chase, because that's literally insane. Yeah, Chase is a GOAT. Chase is the Mr.Dibble supporter of all time. I don't know, guys. Chase might get my Hurricane Hunters ticket now. Is there an estimate on how far the hurricane wind speeds will expand? There's not really an estimate on it. That's going to be something where we're just going to have to watch and see what it's going to look like. Where are the 3D hurricane plots? If you're talking about the 3D satellite, that's in the Radar Omega app. I don't really use it that much just because it's kind of funky and it's like not a real thing. It's just associating colors with different heights on the radar. But it is relative to something. I mean, the darker the color here, the higher it's going to be. I prefer the good old 2D satellite. Fortnite is so bad now. Yeah, see, that's why I stopped playing. I used to play that game more than you could possibly believe. I have way too much game time in that, or way too much playing time in that game to even admit how much time I've played it. But you can ask my parents. I used to play that game every single day. Now my dad plays Fortnite more than me, and my dad wins Fortnite games, for the record. That's quite the flex. Not a lot of people have dads who win games in Fortnite. Steph, what are the Dutch waterworks? Titusville. You guys are right here on the back side of Florida, the eastern side. So you're going to get in on the hurricane force winds when we see it come across land. Then also, once we see the center of the storm out here, those counterclockwise winds are going to pull water around the storm, and you guys are going to be seeing a 3 to 5 foot storm surge. Oh my god, guys. You are going absolutely crazy today. Christina Lynn 73, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And Jessica, thank you so much for becoming a 5% channel member. That's actually crazy. This is like the craziest stream I've ever had. Craziest stream I've ever had for a Category 5 hurricane, the 4th craziest in the Atlantic. Perfect timing. Cage, once you subscribe to the channel, the subscribe button becomes a join button, and you click the join button. That's where you can become a channel member, but don't feel a need to do that. Titusville? All right, got it. Let's take a look at this quick. This is the flash flooding potential associated with Hurricane Milton. So obviously the pink here, this is our high risk of flash flooding. That is very, very rare. And even more widespread than that is a moderate risk, which is still very high. If you're in a moderate risk, expect to be under a flash flood warning at some point. And if you are in a high risk, you are most likely going to be under a flash flood emergency at some point. A flash flood emergency is one of the most dangerous situations you will ever find yourself in. I associate it right up there with a tornado emergency. A flash flood emergency, that's something that barely ever happens. We saw 24 of those during the North Carolina flooding. Can you make a video on how to use the Radar Omega app? Yeah, we started making that video and then they updated the app. So we're probably going to do that next major update, so we can get all the new features in there, because I think Radar Omega is coming out with another update here pretty soon. When will the airlines start or stop flying out of Tampa? Tampa Airport is already closed. They closed at 8 a.m. this morning. No ETA on when they're going to reopen that airport. It's all just going to be playing it by ear, seeing how bad the surge is there. The Tampa Bay Airport is really, really close to shore. You can see it right around here. This is the Tampa Bay Airport, I believe. But if they see a lot of water come out of Tampa Bay, this entire airport is going to be underwater. So it could be underwater for as little as 6 hours or as much as 2 to 3 days. It's really going to depend on a combination of how much rain they get and how strong the storm surge is. We have a new update from a drop sonde from the Hurricane Hunters. 913 millibars is the new pressure on Hurricane Milton. Almost said Helene. Max flight level winds at 156 knots, 164 mile per hour gusts. So that is now a 10 millibar change since 8 a.m. this morning. That is when we saw it come out of its eye wall replacement cycle. 159. So last time the Hurricane Hunters went through the eye, it was 179 miles an hour sustained, and now we are at 159 mile an hour sustained flight level winds. As a general rule of thumb, you can take those flight level winds, multiply them by 0.09, and that is what we expect the winds on the surface to be like. Watch, see if my overlay updates. And it did. Perfect. Crystal, is that the second time? I think that's the second time you've gifted memberships. Holy shit, guys. This is actually insane. Thank you so much to Crystal for the 5 gifted memberships. If you got gifted a membership, go make sure that you thank Crystal. And you know what? Just everyone thank Crystal. I think we're up to like what? Like 30 something memberships now? That is insane. Especially for a channel of my size. Like, wow. I don't even know what more I can say. How's it going, Owen River House? Eye wall replacement is when we see the inner eye of the storm. It will get surrounded by a new eye wall, a new larger eye wall. And we'll go through a process where you see this inner eye wall tear itself apart and the outer eye wall becomes the dominant eye wall. So what that means is the hurricane will be weaker for a period of time. And it's going to be weaker, and the area of the maximum winds is going to get bigger. What are the chances of another eye wall replacement cycle out of 100? 99.9 repeating. Hannah, thank you so much for the... Jesus. Wow. Thank you so much for the $10 donations. Can you explain wind shear, what it is, and how it affects hurricanes? Back to the Atlantic drawing board. So wind shear is the change in winds with height. So it looks something like this if each line represents wind speed. And when we see a wind more like this, where it's the same, this is perfect for a hurricane because a hurricane relies on a perfectly vertically stacked core to be at its peak intensity. But what we see happen when it impacts wind shear is that center gets tilted. And when the center gets tilted, it will make the storm bigger, and it will also weaken it. Oh my god, another one. Eric, thank you so much. How far inland do I have to worry about storm surge? My parents live 6 to 8 miles inland from Sarasota. I wonder if we can get road specific on that. Oh, there's like 4 of them. I'm gonna click the first one and we're gonna hope it's right. So this is one of the oh my god, I can't even keep up with them. Jared, thank you so much for the $2 donation. This is one of the Cattleman roads. This is basically going to be ground zero in terms of wind speed and storm surge. So if you're 6 to 8 miles inland, you're gonna still get some storm surge. This is a map of what we're expecting the storm surge to look like. And if Cattleman Road, I can't drop a pin like this, or I can't drop a pin on this like I can on Radar Omega. But if you're looking at this map and that road is anywhere in any of the shading, it's going to be underwater when we see this thing make landfall. So take a picture of this map, take a screenshot, and send that over to your parents. Oh my god. I can't keep up with it, guys. You guys are going crazy. Brian Johnson, welcome to the 30 hatched members. That is the second highest membership tier on this channel, and that is the second highest membership that we have right now. So thank you so much to Brian Johnson. Everyone say W Brian, and honestly just W everyone. You guys have been so supportive tonight. Ashley, thank you so much for that $2 donation. Don't forget to hit that like button. Yeah, go ahead and hit that like button. We're trying to get this information out to as many people as possible, and with YouTube being algorithm based, the more likes and the more people who type in chat and the more people who like this video, YouTube is going to promote that to more people, especially the people who are in the path of this storm. It's actually smart enough to recognize Hurricane Milton and send that or send this video to the people who are in the direct path of Hurricane Milton. Oh my god, enough. Tree Hop Travels, thank you so much for, oh my god, I can't even keep up. Tree Hop Travels, thank you so much for becoming a 5% member. It looks like our channel icons are messed up because 5% is supposed to be the brown hailstone. So I'll have to take a look at that. Juliana, thank you so much for your $5 donation from Bradenton. That's where we're stationing the Y'all Squad out of, actually. So maybe we'll see you guys out there after this storm. Stay safe. I know it's going to be really, really crazy there. So stay safe and don't do anything stupid when this hurricane makes landfall. Oh no, guys, the YouTube demonetization department is back. Every time. They're always in here. Yeah, Jared, it's a hailstone. It's kind of hard to tell that it's a hailstone, but that's what it's supposed to be. Why does Milton sound like an old man name? Honestly, when I first saw the Hurricane Milton name, I'm like, that is the worst hurricane name of all time. But it's definitely not the worst hurricane of all time. It's definitely the 4th strongest Atlantic hurricane of all time. Whereabouts in Bradenton? We're not for sure yet where we're going to be setting up, but we talked to Cletus McFarland, the Freedom Factory. He's over here in this area here, and that's where we're going to sort of be stationing out of in terms of initial response. Oh my god, another one. Renee Maurice Makeup, do you know if Scorpion Reef survived Hurricane Milton? I do not, but if it's underwater, there's a really good chance that it did survive. Guys, you're going insane tonight. Jesus. Hannon, thank you so much for the $2 donations. Or the $2 donation. Keep doing what you're doing, helping out everyone. Hey, that's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah, Joseph, Caleb actually talked to Cletus in person earlier today while we were unloading our trailer. He came by and he was like, hey, what's going on? We've worked with him. I think we worked with him during North Carolina. I think there was one other question that I wanted to talk about that I missed. Oh yeah, Jared posted the link to the Y'all Squad. If you guys want to help out with our Y'all Squad efforts, go over to y'allsquad.org. Feel free to make a tax-deductible donation if you're able. Don't feel the need to. But any money with that, or any money that gets donated there, that's Ryan's 501c3. And we're going to be taking all of the resources we get, taking them down to Florida and helping out there. We're also helping out in North Carolina and Tennessee right now. There's a lot going on with the Y'all Squad with how many major storms that have been going on, but we did a ton in North Carolina. We brought 30 Starlink dishes and a bunch of other stuff, a bunch of water, a bunch of food, and we're working on getting a couple of other things that are going to be really, really special that not a lot of other people have. We're going to call it the Y'all Hub. It's a very Ryan Hall Y'all name, but the Y'all Hub is basically going to be a portable relief station with everything that you can possibly imagine. Food, water, showers, just a place to chill. We're going to have TVs there so you can tune into a sports game. We're just going to try and make it like this oasis in the middle of these areas that just lost everything. Jessica Turner, thank you so much for becoming a 2% channel member. I wish I could see live YouTube memberships because we're probably getting close to that 50 membership mark. See if it'll load here. We're at 38 channel members right now. It wants me, or it just has a list, but yeah, 38 channel members right now. I want to see if my icons are messed up too. A new drop song just found. What? I need to look into that. Jared, if you see somewhere where it shows that the 185 mile an hour surface winds were on a drop zone, send that to me because I want to look at that. The National Hurricane Center's website's not updating for some reason. If that is true, that's scary. That's really, really, really scary. $23.10. I have that information, I think. Yeah, the information on the vortex still is just that flight level wind. Jared's doing God's work. He'll look for it. Huh. Here we go. It's true. That is scary. Southeast eyewall. 185 mile per hour winds. If the Hurricane or National Hurricane Center agrees that this is good data, we're going to see an upgrade to a very, very, very strong Category 5 hurricane here shortly. Bunny Hugger, thank you so much for becoming a 5% channel member. Sorry guys, I'm just going to make a quick tweet about this. I also forgot to tweet that we were live again, so I have to do that. Geezerman, no such thing as a Category 6, never will be. It's rare enough for a Category 5 hurricane to happen. We're never going to see a Category 6. I still don't believe that I just saw that. That's literally insane. 184.125 miles per hour. Alright, what did I miss? Did I miss anything? Kaya, that sounds about right. There's a ton of lightning in this thing, as with most intense hurricanes. Hi Nick, how's it going? Are you going down to chase this or no? Nick, it's not going to impact California. That's insane. That is one of the most powerful hurricanes ever recorded, and it's in the Gulf, and it's headed toward Florida. Luckily, it's going to weaken, because if it made landfall at that strength, that's the most catastrophic thing that anyone could possibly imagine. Cape Coral. Yeah, if they're close to the ocean here, they're under a storm surge warning. Where's the amount? It's not on there. They're looking at anywhere from 5. I believe they're in the 5 to 8 region in terms of storm surge. I'll pull that graphic up here in just a second. Right here, 8 to 12 feet. 8 to 12 feet of storm surge for Cape Coral. No way, is that the James Pettis? How's it going, James? Matthew, we actually don't need to worry about really what the winds are down here right now to talk about storm surge. We already know that it's going to be somewhere in that 10 to 15 feet range in terms of peak storm surge. I still keep going back and looking at this drop zone information because that's crazy. Where do you get the drop zone information? You can find it on tropicaltidbits.com or cyclonicwx.com. James, did you post about the 185 mile an hour surface winds? I know you did. No way James just got gifted a membership. That's insane. He just joined and he's already got a membership. Crystal, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. That's the second time you've gifted today, and that's going to be 42 or 43 channel members. James, you better say thank you to Carol like 10 times, along with everyone else who was gifted a membership. How strong of tornadoes can a hurricane spawn? Normally they're on the weaker end, but it's not unusual to see a significant or a violent tornado from hurricane. So any tornadoes that we see are going to be in this southeast region of the storm because it's moving eastward. That is our front right quadrant. So that's where we can expect to see the majority of those tornadoes. No, Morgan, Nick is the weird glasses kid and I'm the clear glasses kid. Planning the shelter on his apartment in the 4th floor of the USF Tampa City campus area. I would be surprised if they're going to let him do that because, I mean, they're under a mandatory evacuation there as is, and I feel like the college people would go through those dorms and start kicking people out. Also, by the way, the SON information, that's not like, we don't know for sure if that's sustained winds. That's just what it was. So it's going to be somewhere in that 185 mile an hour range, but that might not have been the sustained winds. That might have been a gust. So we're going to have to wait and see what the National Hurricane Center says about that. But either way, that was 185 mile an hour winds on the surface, and even if that was a gust, that is insane. Clewiston, let me look at where Clewiston's at. You guys are down here near Lake Okoboji. A mobile home, that's probably going to be a little concerning just because there's going to be a lot of tropical storm-forced winds. But you guys obviously aren't going to have storm surge. You're on the lake, but you're still going to be getting a ton of rain and a ton of wind. So if possible, I'd probably go ahead and evacuate. Your best chance to evacuate at this point will probably go south. There's a lot of people going north and the roads are all backed up. So your best bet would be south. Citrus County. You guys are over here. I believe this is the furthest north county that has a mandatory evacuation out. That is going to be for the storm surge. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of rainfall there as well, and a lot of hurricane force winds. So you guys are going to be a lot better off than the people down here further to the south in the Tampa Bay, Sarasota, Punta Gorda region, but still going to be concerning there. Okeechobee. See, I've heard it like a million different ways. Orange County. Let's take a look at Orange County. Orange County, you're over here. That is Orlando. You are going to be getting in on probably the north side of the strongest hurricane force winds. A bunch of rain there, looking at anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of rain. So expect intermittent power outages. I mean, it's going to be serious there. So be ready for that. Yeah, Kaya, a barometer does a lot more than just telling you about storm surge. You can actually use it to get an idea of what's going on. Low pressure systems are associated with bad weather, whether it just be rain or any other sort of annoying weather. So if you see a trend and the pressure is dropping, that's probably a sign that there's weather on the horizon. Looks like our newest Hurricane Hunter data has an extrapolated surface pressure of 910.3 millibars. Ash, thank you so much for becoming a 2% channel member. That is like the gajillionth channel member of the day. You guys are insane. Everyone say thank you to Ash. Destin, you guys aren't going to be getting in on any of the action from this, luckily. Yeah, listen to Rhonda. If you're in one of these counties and you've heard of evacuations, check and make sure that you are not in an evacuation zone. And if you are in an evacuation zone, evacuate. They have these evacuations for a reason, and heed the warning and get out. Yeah, we're up to 45 members now, guys. That's literally insane. I know I've probably said that exact line like 100 times today, but before today we were at like 12 and we're already up to 45. Can we do a poll on if Reed Subaru will make it through the hurricane? Absolutely. For those of you who don't know, last time there was a major hurricane, Reed destroyed his car. Is it okay to stay in a high rise during a hurricane? Yeah, they're normally pretty well built, and I'd honestly say that you're probably better off at the top of a hurricane or at the top of a high rise than the bottom. But it's very, very unlikely that a hurricane is gonna collapse. Or not a hurricane. The hurricane is gonna collapse actually, but it's highly unlikely that a high rise is gonna collapse. So you're probably gonna be okay. Just stay away from those windows. Yeah, NIWC, they do have a mesonet there. Florida has a lot of mesonets outside of the Big Bend region. Very 50-50 on the poll right now. Could you explain the flight patterns for the hurricane hunters? Yes. So back to the Atlantic drawing board. The main patterns that we see them fly for hurricanes are the butterfly pattern and the alpha pattern. So a butterfly pattern looks something a little bit like this, and they make 2 passes through the eye wall. This is a terrible drawing. I'm restarting. If this is the center of your hurricane, this is what a butterfly pattern looks like. They're going to make 2 passes, or this is what the alpha pattern looks like. They're going to make 2 passes through the eye wall, collect a bunch of other relevant information, and then get on their way and get out of there. But butterfly pattern, those are the people who are in there dropping the majority of the drop zones. They're going to come in here, and they're just going to keep making left-hand turn after left-hand turn, getting as much information from this thing as they can. And it's called a butterfly pattern because it sort of looks like a butterfly. It looks like we decided that Reed's car is going to make it through the hurricane, but just barely. Citrus County, yeah, you guys are going to get hit. That is the first, or the furthest north county that's under a mandatory evacuation. If you're in Citrus County, go ahead and take a look at the evacuation map put out by your local emergency managers and take a look at that. Yeah, I think 17 is flying a butterfly and 16 is flying an alpha. One of them is doing drop sond and one of them is doing tail radar. The tail radar will be flying the alpha pattern and the other butterfly will be flying, or the other one will be flying the butterfly pattern and getting drop sond data. Looks like a radioactive butterfly. I'm just telling you what the National Hurricane Center calls it. It's up to your interpretation of whether or not it looks like a butterfly, but... Guessing the eye is shrinking? I don't think the eye is shrinking. I think it's actually expanding, and pretty soon it's going to get even bigger, and we're going to see a eye wall replacement cycle. Fox Valley, that's right. I can look at it here quick, which one's doing which. Let me find it. I have it here somewhere, I know that. Mission 17 is doing the Doppler radar, and 16 is doing the low-level reconnaissance and drop sond. Who's that behind you, Nick? There's no one behind me. Nice try. How's it going, Ash? Was there someone behind me? There might have been someone behind me. Can blinds protect you? No, blinds aren't going to do anything. We're at 7.22. Let me take a look. Get a little live subscriber update. 7,222 subscribers on the dot. Any updates in 8 p.m.? Yeah, we've had a couple. Hurricane Hunter's last flow, or actually no, we haven't had one. The last update was 720 on the drop sond. That was our 913 millibar pressure. We're gonna get another one here pretty soon from this guy right here. He's in there right now, and the extrapolated surface pressure was 910 millibars, which is slightly less than what we saw last time. This is probably gonna be the lowest pressure, is that extrapolated 19 or 910.3. James, yeah, go sit like right here under a blanket, you specifically, and you'll be okay, trust. Alyssa, it's a little weird to like just figure out what patterns they're flying because they don't post what pattern they're gonna fly, and it's kind of just up to interpretation. But I'm pretty sure earlier when we were looking at them is the butterfly and the alpha pattern, but I don't know. They might have changed it. Earlier it was the butterfly and alpha. This storm, they've kind of been flying weird patterns, just especially with how close it was to land because they can't fly over land. Are there any evacuations for Cape Coral? Yes, I believe there are some. I had an evacuation map yesterday, but every time I pulled it up, it crashed the stream. But anywhere from Citrus to Collier counties, you guys are under a mandatory evacuation. Let's take a look at Lehigh Acres. You guys are right here. You are going to be in the outer extent of the hurricane force winds under a storm surge warning because there's a very low, or the elevation here is very, very low. So the water is going to be pushed up onto shore relatively easily. But you're probably going to be in some tropical storm force winds for sure. Maybe it's a few hurricane force gusts here and there. Winds expected for Sugar Mills in Citrus County. Hurricane warning, hurricane force winds. I'll double check to make sure I got that right, but we've looked there a couple of times, so I'm pretty sure I still got that right. Yeah, Citrus County, you're over here. You're under a hurricane warning and a storm surge warning. So check the zone. If you're under a mandatory evacuation, go ahead and leave. Palm Bay. That is not Palm Bay. That is Palm Bay. You guys are on the back side of this thing, so you're going to be getting in on some 3 to 5 foot storm surge as well as some Category 1 hurricane force winds. GL 73 is flying the butterfly pattern, and 42 or NOAA 42 is flying the alpha pattern. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we said. Max on the TV, Mr. Dibble on the phone. That's a great combo. For whatever reason, people think that, like, Max, Ryan, and I, like, obviously Ryan and I are cool, but people think that Max and Ryan and Max and me, we have mad beef. We talk literally all the time. Yeah, Max and I have no beef whatsoever. Max and I actually like trolling together, especially trolling Pettis. We like to convince him that I'm an admin when I'm not really that much of an admin, but it's fun. It's fun. But yeah, no beef. Honestly, Max is a little Mahomey, if you want to put it that way. Zoom Earth. Okay, so if you see a hurricane forecast on TikTok, it's probably wrong. The only way that you see a hurricane forecast on TikTok is because it has so much negative engagement that it's getting pushed in the algorithm. Don't listen to it. If you see anyone using like Zoom Earth or windy.com, they don't know what they're talking about. That's the nicest way to put it. Looks like that 910.3 was our lowest pressure dating in that pass. Cape Coral, there are some evacuations out for your area. You can see that the entire county is under that storm surge warning. Check the zone, look at your local EM's website, and see if there's a hurricane evacuation out for your area. Joe Russell, all of it. All of the storm surge in Missouri, 100%. Joe, you should be a mod. Why are you not a mod? Lisa, thank you so much for the $20 donation. That's like the 4th donation and becoming a channel member today. That's insane. Everyone say thank you like 3 times to Lisa for all the times that she has supported me. Let's take a look at Ocala. Drop a pin right there. You guys are pretty far inland and pretty far north. Still gonna get in on that hurricane force wind as well as 10 to 15 inches of rain. I think that is just on the outside edge of the high risk for extreme rainfall. Wolfen, it's fine to follow the storm with, especially if you're just like entry level into weather, but there's a lot more better tools out there to keep an eye on these storms, and any meteorologist would not be using those as the only source of information. Will the NOAA planes fly all night? Yep, they will. Not these specific planes, but sooner or later they're going to have more planes out there going through this thing. They normally do a really, really good job of making sure there's no dead time where we're not getting any sort of information on the storm. Redbird, sometimes it takes a while to get the programs running that Claude makes. It's basically just trial and error, and there's quite the learning curve with it. How do you get verified on X? You have to give Elon Musk your money. Is the only way you can get verified on X these days. Looks like a skeleton. You're totally right. This is a Halloween hurricane. There's its eye. There's its nose. There's its mouth. Demi is completely right. Maggie, thank you so much for a 2. Sorry, so much for a 2. Thank you so much to Maggie for becoming a 2% channel member. I think that is the 50th channel member. Let me look. 46 channel members. We are up to 46 channel members. And we started the day at 13. That's literally insane. Yeah, pure evil. This hurricane's pure evil. It looks evil. It is evil. It's strong and it's evil. Evil, evil, evil. Yeah, don't give Elon your money. I give Elon my money just because if you don't give him your money, he doesn't promote your stuff. And Twitter is one of the ways that I use to get my information out. So unfortunately, I have to do that. Hurricane Milton. Exactly. That's exactly what we're looking at here. Naples Park, you are right on the edge of the 8 to 12 to 5 to 8 foot storm surge area. So definitely keep an eye out for storm surge. Going to be seeing some tropical storm force winds, probably gusts as probably hurricane force wind gusts. So make sure you are in a safe place. Is eye wall replacement always a bad thing? No. So we've seen historically where eye wall replacement will start all the way up here right as it's about to make landfall, and it does momentarily weaken when it goes into eye wall replacement. So it is going to be weaker when it makes landfall. I believe it was Hurricane Ian that started an eye wall replacement cycle right before it made landfall. How can you identify an eye wall replacement cycle? So one of the ways you can do it is the hurricane hunters in their vortex data messages will tell you that there are 2 eye walls in that storm, and if we have 2 eye walls, that means that we're going through an eye wall replacement cycle. Also, if you're just looking at it and it's like over open environment like this, you look at the path, it's expected to stay strong, and this eye starts looking a lot more raggedy, it's probably going through an eye wall replacement cycle. There's more complex ways than that, but that's the easiest way to identify it. Alright, I am going to take a quick 30-second break to run to the bathroom, convince me that XQC raided the chat or something. I don't know. You guys can come up with your own funny thing. Alright, I came back and my headset was dead, so that's fun. It's amazing. It's a shed for anyone. I think we're asking if it's a pavilion or a shed. It is most definitely a shed. And my source is Trust Me Bro. I'm muted? No. I definitely clicked the button. Nice try, nice try. I can see the thingy moving. I can see it moving. You're not gonna get me that easy. See, I'd believe it if I wasn't Ryan Hall and I didn't always leave my mic muted every time I came back, but I have a button right in front of my face, and if I'm muted, it's red, and if I'm not muted, it's green. So you're not gonna get me. Sean, thank you so much for the $3 super chat. How's it going? Welcome in. Facts about geckos? I mean, hey, let's get some facts about geckos. Oh, I'm totally muted? Yeah, here. Alright. Yeah, everyone's just reading my lips. That we got going on. How's it going, Ari? Welcome in. You just got 8 commercials. That shouldn't even be possible. But if they gave you 8 commercials, tell them that's not nice. What does the NOA Gulfstream jet do for them? It does the aerial reconnaissance, so it doesn't actually fly into the storm, but what it'll do is it'll kind of come out here and collect a little bit more information around the storm and above the storm. This is not what their flight pattern looks like, obviously, but they're looking at the live wind shear data, and then that information gets put into the models. Has the eye wall shrunk since it reformed? Yeah, it looks like that a little bit. It's still way bigger than it was last night, but it's probably a little smaller than it was. Oh my god. Guys, we did it. We crossed 50 channel memberships. I did not think that, like, I did not think this was gonna happen. Everyone, spam W Chase, because 50 memberships is an absolutely wild benchmark to pass. Mr. Derpy, a big eye is not necessarily a good thing. It means that the strongest hurricane force wind field, which is of course inside the eye wall, is going to be bigger. But it also means that it can't strengthen as much because a smaller eye will usually be more strong. Pettis, you basically just undid the membership you were gifted. AFN-BS. They thank you to James. James, thank you so much for donating 1 channel membership. James, you missed out last night. We had quite the stream going on. Next goal, 100 memberships. We do need to get like an overlay up in the corner or something that's like a live subscriber goal and a live membership goal, but I don't have any of those set up right now. Can't see through my glasses, gotta clean them off. My hair is too long. I get a haircut tomorrow. In fact, next time you see me on Ryan's channel, I'll probably have a completely different hairstyle, but we're cutting the mop. It's way too long. It's falling into my eyes. Yeah, Chase was the very first 45 Hatch member, and he's the person who got us to 50 channel members. Absolutely wild support from Chase today. Chase, we're definitely gonna have to play Fortnite at some time. The worst part about not having my headset on is that I can't hear the background music. I'm just listening to my PC fan. Yeah, Amber, I'll get a mullet, or should I get a bowl cut? Should we get a mullet? I basically already have one, but... What do you use to follow the flight paths? This app specifically, this doesn't update live, but it updates every time we get an update from the Hurricane Hunters. This is the Radar Mega app. There's a layer that you can toggle on with the Hurricane Hunter data. And it shows that there, but you can also track it on Flight Radar 24. And that's actually live updating with the position of the airplane. Will Milton go back out to sea as a hurricane or a tropical storm? It's probably going to be a Category 1 hurricane when it makes its way over Florida. Get a reverse mohawk. I'm not Jinxie. We're not going to do that. Commercials are back. YouTube and their whole running ads thing, even when ads are turned off, is wild. Liam, I don't know if I already answered this. I don't even remember. The reason that we're starting to see Hurricane Milton weaken is the eye is becoming less stable, so pretty soon it's going to go into an eye wall replacement cycle. In addition to that, we're moving into that area of wind shear. You've probably heard a ton of other people talking about that, and once it makes its way into the area of wind shear, it's going to right now the core is perfectly vertical, and it's going to tilt it. When that core gets tilted, it gets weaker. Is it true that Milton is going to turn north and hit Detroit, Michigan? Yeah. It's going to do the good old never seen before, don't look at this path. Pretend that's not there. And it's just going to shwoop. Not going to do that. Definitely not going to do that. 3 ads in a row. I had YouTube Premium this summer because I was watching a lot of YouTube, and you don't get ads if you have YouTube Premium. Yeah, exactly what Naomi just said. That's the only way that you can seriously not get ads. Do tropical storms remove heat from the seas that they draw from? Yes, they do. Everything in the world is a exchange in energy, and that energy is coming out of the ocean and into the hurricane itself. And behind it, you see colder sea surface temperatures, just because that energy had to come somewhere. And yeah. Are those blue light glasses? No, these are actually prescription glasses. They just look like blue light glasses because they have clear frames. They are also blue light, but I'm basically blind without this. Like, if I take these off, I cannot read chat. So definitely need the glasses. What strength is Milton gonna hit Oregon? Probably a category 9, honestly. Luke, people are gonna join the stream and they're gonna be like, what's this kid talking about? In the UK, the overhype about Kirk was insane. I mean, it's not often that we see extra tropical cyclone make its way into the UK, so I can understand it, but I can understand where people would overhype the crap out of it. Yeah, listen to Amber. She's looked through my glasses. My glasses give her a headache every time she looks through them. I am blind. It's on my driver's license. It says I can't drive without glasses. I'm that blind. What happens underwater during a hurricane? Well, the ocean gets mixed up, so the temperatures are going to become a little cooler, but other than that, not much. I mean, there's going to be an adjusting, or the currents are going to get adjusted, but not much happens underwater. Basically just stronger sea currents, and that's why we see all this sand be pushed ashore when these things make landfall. Could it be a category 4 while hitting land? Yeah, it could be. Right now it's looking like it's going to be probably a strong category 3 hurricane, but it could definitely make landfall as a category 4. Either way, it's going to be very, very, very impactful. It's going to be catastrophic. Yep, Alaska is a Cat 10. How is this going to affect Talk to a podcast? You see, I asked that the other day and no one can give me an answer, so being that this isn't going to affect a Talk to a podcast, it might honestly not be worth talking about. Should probably just cut the stream there. What state are you in? I'm in Wisconsin. If the eye wall replacement cycle happens, will Milton get destroyed by wind shear? It's not going to get destroyed. It'll get weakened. But it's still going to be a hurricane, and it's still going to be substantial. Liam, I've never chased a hurricane. Griffin, it depends on how blind you are. In my case, if I take my glasses off, I can't see anything. So when you go to the DMV, they have you look through a little box, or a little box with and without your glasses, and they decide if you're too blind to drive without glasses. Rachel, if you're talking about this area of convection here, that's basically just going to be gusty winds, maybe tropical storm force gusts, like a normal severe thunderstorm. It's not part of our hurricane, and we're not going to see the hurricane suck it out. That's not something that hurricanes can do. A lot of the energy, or all the energy, is coming out from the core, but that's not completely true either. But no, we're not going to see this have any impact on our hurricane, really. Are there going to be any major any more major hurricanes this year? Yeah, it's possible. Wait, are we both talking about glasses right now? No way. I'm going to text him. I need to see that. see if he responds to that. Sometimes he doesn't respond while he's streaming, obviously. Yeah, everyone said this season was overhyped, but I think it was like 2 months ago I made a video about this exact thing, how it's going to become super favorable for hurricanes later on in the season. And that definitely came to fruition, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. How many storm chasers will you guys be following? There's a ton of them down there tomorrow. Basically every storm chaser who storm chases and their mother is going to be there. So, yeah, Max is talking about glasses right now. That's hilarious. What are the odds that 2 weather streams are talking about glasses at the same point in time? But yeah, there's going to be like 50 storm chasers that we're following down there tomorrow on Ryan's stream. Yeah, Joshua, this is associated with the hurricane, and that's why we've been seeing it follow the hurricane, and also the hurricane is just pushing this, and that's why we've seen it following the same general path. Would be interesting to check if anyone's used GraphCast models by Google DeepMind to forecast Milton. Yeah, it would be. I forgot that those even existed, but I looked at them a little bit back when they came out. Bennett, if I'm not in class, I'll definitely chase, but obviously classes take the first priority. Ria, yeah, the eyewall replacement process, it does weaken it, and it weakens the inner eyewall, and temporarily that outer eyewall is going to be weak too, because there's still that inner eyewall. But once you see the inner eyewall collapse and the outer eyewall regain its highest possible energy, yeah, that's when it starts to get stronger. Mr. Derpy, a lot of cats and dogs are going to fall from the sky. Luke, I totally agree. I said that earlier this stream, and I've been saying that the entire time. This is a very weird hurricane. Should fish be worried? Yes. All the fish. Tastes like chicken right now. I'm in hydrology, some communications class that I have to take. And yeah. Nice water spout ongoing. Oh, we're gonna have to switch the radar. Where is it? Northwest of Key West. Alright. Oh, it's gonna be this storm, isn't it? Oh, I don't know if I have it set up to show both panels. Alright. Oh my god. That would be what he's talking about right there. John, thank you so much for that $2.79 donation. That's definitely a beefy water spout. It's got a nice hook on it too. I haven't really been paying attention to water spouts. I should, but it's hard to watch the satellite and the satellite and everything else at the same time. That's why Ryan has multiple people. What was Sean's question? Let me find it. I live in Atlantic Canada and have seen the effects of disaster effects. Can you remind folks why a Cat 3 or 4 is just as bad as a Cat 5? Yeah, so a lot of people get so hyper-fixated on the number, and they don't realize that once you get into the major hurricane categories, it's called a major hurricane for a reason, and they're under that same title because it's at that point where it doesn't really matter how much stronger it gets. Either way, it's going to be catastrophic. And even though people are going to look at this and be like, oh, it's a category 5, it's weakening, it's only going to be a category 3, you should never put the word only in front of a category, because it's always going to be a significant storm. Yeah, no CC drop. I would be concerned if we saw a CC drop. That would actually be kind of funny, but also very concerning. We have seen CC drops from storms before, or water spouts before, I should say. Yeah, no, We talked about this earlier, and it just looks like more and more of a face. Here's its... Where's my pen? Here's its head. It's got a giant chin. There's its mouth. There's its nose. I might have to take... We're gonna have to tweet about Milton, the Great Face Cane, honestly. Sorry for the silence. Just trying to get this out real quick. Alright. Tweeted about it. Yeah, no. Look, that is a 10 out of 10 jawline right there. That is the jawline of all time. We're getting mogged by Hurricane Milton. Honestly, we should just call it Hurricane Mog at this point. Hurricane Chad. There we go. That is the new official name. Hurricane Chad. Honestly, this hurricane kind of looks like max velocity, and you can see that because of how far back its hairline is. So I think this might be the max velocity hurricane. Dude, yeah, everything about this thing is impressive. Look at how beautiful it is. I mean, it's kind of got a bullet hole going right through its head, but still. Yeah, Rachel said earlier it was an old man. It definitely looks like an old man. Honestly, we gotta look at that. Look at that cheekbone. That jawline, man. Genuine Vibes 88. Thank you for the good vibes and the $10 donation. Kind of looks like Jigsaw. You're totally right. Also, like, someone to tell this guy, that ain't where your eye's supposed to be. But it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, the new viewers are joining and being like, what in the world is going on? Shoot for the corner. Just brought up a very good point. If you have a car, especially an electric car, in the hurricane, batteries plus salt water is a very, very bad mix. So, if you have an electric car, get it out of there. Park it literally anywhere else besides somewhere where it might be wet. And, yeah. There were a bunch of videos of Teslas getting on fire. Griffin, go ahead. Make sure to tag Max and tag me. Max raid? Oh, God. I can't even imagine what sort of weirdness would come out of a max raid. Yeah, he definitely got a chin implant. Like, what's going on down here? Is Tampa getting hit hard still? Yep, it is. Even if we see this thing go way off to the north over here or way off to the south over here, Tampa, you're still going to really feel the impacts of this thing. So if you're in Tampa, just leave. I know that the roads are really, really congested right now, and it's hard to find gas, but your best chance is to leave. Max raid will get you to 10k. Max has been doing insane recently, and it's good for him too. He's got really good information, and he's a really cool person. Genuine Vibes, again, both of the donations up right now in the live chat are from him. So that's $30 today. And yeah, thanks for keeping us informed after the Ryan Hall stream ended. And thanks for your continuous support. Was the 850 or 185 850? Wow, that's windy. Was the 185 mile per hour drop sound reliable? Yes and no. So that is obviously an observed wind speed, and that's something that did happen. But we don't know if that was a gust, and we don't know if that was a sustained wind, because if it's a gust, that's going to move the drop sound at 185 miles an hour. Max, there's no such thing as glazing. We all know that Max is a little Mahomey. Yeah, the face is like ingrained in my brain now. Thanks for the best hurricane coverage on the internet. You're welcome. I wouldn't say it's the best. I think Ryan and Max definitely have me. But I try my best, and we try and do what we can. PDS glazing? Nah. You know what actually sounds gas right now? A Glazer's donut from Quick Trip. We're going to see this thing, or this plane, come back through here and make another pass through the eye here shortly, by the way. Can you explain the stadium effect? Yeah, so when we have an eye like this, it looks so open. When you're inside the center of that eye, you look out and it just looks like there's rows of seating around you. So that's what the stadium effect is. Joe, what are the hatch flags? Those are wind barbs. So every single one of these is showing the wind speeds where the Hurricane Hunter's plane was. Back to the drawing board. So it looks like this, and then each line on there represents 10 miles an hour, or 10 knots per hour. A half line represents 5 knots per hour, and then a triangle represents 50 knots per hour. Yeah, Jared, I see everything. I see all. Max is only temporary? What in the world does that even mean? Show the 3D? Yeah, we can take a look at 3D. So this is what the storm looks like on 3D satellite. Obviously, he's a biggin. And it kind of looks like this. Oh, like that. All hurricanes look like that, though. Tastes like chicken. The size of the eye is basically just how big we're going to see the impacts of the eye wall. So the bigger the eye, the more impacts we're going to see. The smaller the eye, the tighter and most likely faster the wind speeds are, but it's going to happen over a smaller area. See if there's a new update from the Hurricane Hunters. Nope. Steve, when looking at long wave IR satellite imagery, what do the colors mean? So the colors are actually temperatures, which can slightly be associated with height, because the taller the cloud, or the taller the clouds, the colder they are. But It's a temperature scale. So these colors, where's my pen? These colors over here, these are the warmest, and then as you get closer to these blacks, the whites, and the pinks, that is where it gets colder. Max has a Buzz Lightyear outfit. Oh my god. I remember he got sent that. He's like, someone said they sent me this. He got told that he was going to be sent that on the same day that he got sent max velocity underwear. What are the indications of an eye wall replacement cycle? The eye will become more raggedy, and the hurricane hunters will tell us that there is a second eye, and when we see this outside eye, that is when that's an indication that the inside eye is going to fall apart and that new eye wall will form, and that's the eye wall replacement cycle. The hurricane is really a four-dimensional being fully tripping. Yes. Sean, that's completely right. The size of the eye doesn't really mean anything about how strong the storm surge is, how bad the storm surge is going to be. It affects how much of an area it's going to impact, but you can still see strong storm surge in an area with, or on a storm with a tight eye and one with a big eye. Are you cat dad? I am. I don't know where my cat is right now. He'll be down here at some point and we can show him off. He was here last night. I should see if I can find them. Or bring my girl, or have my girlfriend bring him. I'll see if she can bring him. Ashley, thank you for the kind words. Oh, I heard the gate move up there. We might be getting a cat. The storm looks like a skull. Yeah, we were just talking about that. It definitely looks like a skull. Genuine vibes. Do you and Ryan Hall get to keep all the money from super chats? No. YouTube takes like 40% of the super chats, but we get to keep the other 60%. You have Chippy? You want to hold him or do you want? Oh. Okay. Here's the cat. You got the cat. I don't think he's happy. Everyone say hi to Chippy. James says hi. Amber doesn't say hi back, James. Do you think it looks like a skull? No, what do you mean? Yeah, it looks like the side profile. Here's the head, there's the nose, there's the mouth. It's got an absolute giant chin. Bro, don't make fun of my drawing. I tried. You want to take Chippy back or like it? I hate Chippy Dibble. You Chip Nick. Chippy Dibble. Can you play the last 100 frames? I don't know if I have 100 frames. I think I only get 75, but we can run the last 75 frames. Yeah, it's definitely looking more cursed and weird. Chippy don't like the hurricane. Chippy's anti-hurricane. Can you like sit on my shoulder? Popping all his weight in my arm. Ode? Both cats? They'd be fighting. We get a cat fight on stream. They were fighting last night. In the background. He wants to leave. Bye, Chippy. Oh. Are you taking him? Is it just me, or does Milton look less smooth now and more unstable? Yeah, it's starting to look unstable, and that's probably because relatively soon here we're going to go into the next eyewall replacement cycle, and it's going to start interacting with the wind shear here. I can't hold him like that. The latest mile per hour is 165 sustained, 200 mile per hour gusts, and a minimum central pressure of 902 millibars. That was the last National Hurricane Center update, but the last Hurricane Hunter pass through was 913 millibars. Rhonda, I'm sure Jared can post the link to the All Squad. It used to be pinned in the description, but I think it randomly disappeared one of the times that I streamed, and I haven't put it back in yet. It's weird how the information carries over from stream to stream. Steve, you really have to get that information from the hurricane hunters to know if that eye is, or that second eye is forming or not. You really can't see that on satellite. You can see the inner one collapsing, but you can't really see the outer one forming. Could the wind shear make Milton go to a Cat 3 temporarily? As soon as the wind shear starts interacting with Milton, that is going to be a whole weakening phase. It's not going to get any stronger than what it was previously. The best case scenario for it losing strength would be it going through the wind shear and having an eyewall replacement at the same time. Bennett, I did golf in high school, the best high school sport there is. The water wedge is insane right now. I'm gonna have to take a look at the water wedge. Ain't in there yet. Oh my god. Oh. There he is. I don't think he likes that. Griffin, I'll make sure he sees it. If you ever were wondering what a velocity couplet looked like, that is a velocity couplet. And that is a hook echo. Definitely a strong water wedge ongoing. Satellite high-res reflectivity. I somehow doubt that, Radar Omega. If we spread the central wind field, do we also spread the storm surge? Yes. It'd be a lower peak height of the storm surge, but more storm surge occurring. Tastes like chicken. The only time that we're going to see two eyes is when it's going through the eyewall replacement cycle, and they're not going to be like two different circles like this. It's going to be one circle inside of another. What color table is that? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I took some color table and then adjusted it myself. I like it. A lot of people say it's stupid and they don't like it, but I think it looks good. And as long as I think it looks good, I'm going to keep using it. How bad is it going to be in Sarasota? As lightly as possible. It's going to be pretty bad. Right now, we're expecting to see the eye of the hurricane go right through there. That means they're going to get in on the strongest Category 3 force hurricane winds. And they're looking at 10 to 15 feet of storm surge there as we see this thing make landfall. I believe Sarasota has taken a direct hit once. I'd have to look at the historical website, which is down again today, at least last time I checked. Chase, the list that I use to learn meteorology is in Ryan's Discord server. When do you expect the next update? They actually put that on the Outlook. Give me a second, I'll look. My cat's at the fire now. The next Outlook is going to be 0Z. Nope, we already had that one. The next advisory is at 3Z, which is going to be in the next hour. It is 209Z right, or 206Z right now. But they have been running ahead of schedule, so we might get this one ahead of schedule. Mighty Joe, this is not Tropical Tidbits. This is Radar Omega. Michael, yeah, basically the entire coast of Florida from Naples on northward had some sort of experience with Hurricane Helene. Obviously, it was a lot more severe up here around Perry, where we saw the maximum storm surge. But even in Tampa Bay, they still had a good amount of storm surge. And there was a lot of water in like Clearwater Beach that came ashore. A lot of people know who Tifu is. He has a house in Clearwater Beach, and it got completely destroyed. And they had like tons and tons and tons of sand. Their pool got filled in with sand. So these areas were definitely impacted by Hurricane Helene, and this is going to be even worse than Hurricane Helene. Yeah, Teal's about to fly back through. They're probably already through it. We just haven't seen them yet. It seems like all the hurricanes recently have been making landfall at midnight and just being annoying. Literally the worst time that they can make landfall, and they still find a way to do it without fail. Hornet, if you want to learn more about hurricanes and where to see those forecasts, Tropical Tidbits is a good website. They have all of the hurricane information you could possibly see on there. It's literally all there. Unfortunately, that website's been struggling with how much people have been going to it recently, but it's a great website. Landfall right now is supposed to happen around 2 a.m. on Thursday. My niece lives near Sarasota and with her dad, and they've been received an order to evacuate, and he's refusing to leave. Yeah, unfortunately, we keep hearing of people doing that, and especially in areas like Sarasota, that's where we're going to see the strongest impacts of the storm. So it's not like the best decision to leave or not leave, but people are going to make that decision, and it's just going to be unfortunate when there is the loss of life because people refuse to leave. I'm not saying that that's going to happen in Sarasota, but somewhere there's going to be a loss of life because someone's property gets impacted by storm surge. Tastes like chicken, that is actually something we see with tornadoes, because as we go into the nighttime hours, there's an uptick in wind shear at the 850 millibar level, and that's part of the reason that we see storms produce tornadoes. So that's why it seems like we normally see the peak storm events, tornado-wise, around dusk. What are your thoughts on a Cat 4 upgrade during landfall? It's certainly possible, but I would say it's probably less than more likely right now. So we're going to just have to wait and see how it survives over the night to have an idea on that. Just heard from my cousin in Tampa that he moved. I'm assuming that it's supposed to be moved inland to a friend's place in the new Tampa area. As long as you're in Tampa Bay, you're going to be dealing with significant impacts. The best option is still to leave Tampa, so that would be my recommendation. But if they can't leave, just look at the storm surge map on the National Hurricane Center's website. You can get literally down to the house to see if it's going to be underwater. And if that building is supposed to be impacted by the storm surge, don't stay there, because that is how you die. Is Bradenton going to be hit? Yes, it is. That is actually where we're staging out of, relief-wise, more than less likely. That's right here. That's just north of our current estimation in terms of where the eye of the hurricane is going to go. So, yeah, you're definitely going to get hit by that. You're expecting 10 to 15 feet of storm surge. Michael, 2 a.m. Eastern Time. And that's still subject to change. I mean, it could be 2 hours earlier, 2 hours later, or even more than that. But for now, that's the best estimate that we have. Painless, it's still well within our cone of uncertainty, and it's still pretty much on the line. I mean, it's quite literally splitting the center of the line right now. So, not too off track, and it's normal to sort of see it wobble back and forth across the line. I mean, these are really powerful storms, and if they aren't perfectly balanced, it's going to wobble. Yeah, RG5 we did. We have a lot of stuff set up for the Y'all Squad already, and we're going to be active as soon as we know where we can go and who needs help. Yeah, Juliana, even if you can only make it from Bradenton to Orlando, that's still better. The biggest thing is you just got to get out of the regions where they're going to be impacted by storm surge. Karine, I think this is probably going to be worse than Helene as far as damage on the coast goes. Obviously, we're not going to see anything like the flooding that we did in North Carolina because it's not interacting with the Appalachian Mountains. But it's going to be bad. I mean, this is going to be some major storm surge. And in the Big Bend region, we don't have the population like we do in Tampa. So that's why you don't often hear about a lot of the impacts there, because there's no people to impact. Ozzy, that's a great question. We were actually talking about that earlier, how it might be a better option to go southeast now and head out that way because there's so much traffic to the north. Looks like our newest extrapolated surface pressure is 912.5 millibars. That is 2 millibars higher than our last extrapolated surface data. So that would be a weakening trend, and hopefully we continue to see this. We're going to have to wait and see what the dropson says, but for now, that's a good sign. Let's go take a look at our water spout of all time. She definitely still spinning, although it looks like it's starting to broaden out now, which is a good thing. We definitely wouldn't want to see a strong water spout make its way onto land. Xander, thank you. The Y'all Squad does a lot of amazing work, and I'm proud to say that I can work with them and help with that. Yeah, it's going to be a really late landfall tomorrow. There's a lot of people who want to track it. Joe, you need to have the app and a subscription to see the 3D satellite data on Radar Omega. What made Beryl have so many more tornadoes than Hurricane Helene and Francine? I honestly don't remember all the way back to know the specific details of it, but I believe there was already an increased area of 850 millibar wind shear, and that is a big portion of what causes tornadoes, especially in tropical environments. So a combination of that and just the overall tropical essence and the convective available potential energy of a tropical system, that is why we see so many tropical tornadoes. Alyssa, go ahead. I don't know if you're going to get there, if that message will be automatically deleted because it's a link. I don't think it will, but that's a great thing to post. Genuine Vibes, how do you see, or how do you view Milton on Radar Omega? I put on the satellite. So up here where you select what section you want to have, you have to click Hurricane Milton, and then down here at the bottom you want to not select one of the visibles because there's no light right now to make this thing visible. I'm using the clean long wave IR to look at it right now, and that's normally what's best throughout the night. Yeah, if I got stuck in a Category 5 hurricane at night, that'd probably be like my worst nightmare. Because you can't see, all you can do is hear wind and water and just basically hell on earth. Still no drop zone information from the hurricane hunters. Yeah, College of DuPage, they have really good free satellite data. Tropical Tidbits is free too. Tropical Tidbits and COD, those are like the two websites that I use the most outside of Weatherbell. And then obviously apps like GR2, Radar Omega, and Radar Scope. How will this storm compare to Ian? Like I said before in this stream, I don't really like comparing hurricanes, but I think it's going to be somewhat comparable to Ian in terms of how much damage that we see it do. I feel like that might be somewhat controversial just because Ian was stronger, but Ian made landfall in an area where there's not as many people as there are in Tampa Bay. So just because we have more people in the Tampa Bay area, it's going to seem more significant because more people are going to be impacted. The Hurricane Hunters, there's two different divisions. There's the Air Force Division and the NOAA Division. The NOAA Division and the Air Force Division, those are both like their full-time job. Can you show us how to use Tropical Tidbits real quick? Yeah. Oh, gotta resize the window here real quick. So this is Tropical Tidbits. You up here at the top, you can select between current storms, which just gives you an overview on every storm. Here's the whole list: Milton, Leslie, 21, Genesis, Invest 99E. And then over here, this is a big one that a lot of people use. This is where you get all of the aircraft reconnaissance data from every single mission that's going on right now. It does run a little slower than like going directly to the source on the National Hurricane Center's website, especially for the drop zone information, but it's still a really, really good site to use. So this is going to be the same thing that I'm looking at on Radar Omega. These are your wind barbs showing where the plane's going. This has a bunch of other relevant information on it that you can take a peek at. And this updates every 10 minutes, I believe, when there are storms. Yeah, data updates every 10 minutes. They also have the satellite image page where it already locks it on to the storms that are ongoing, so you don't have to worry about changing the float or anything like that. They have all of the hurricane models that your heart could desire on here, as well as some other miscellaneous analysis tools. Griffin, I have a 3060. The National Hurricane Center, yeah, they're in Miami. And then the Storm Prediction Center is in Norman. And then obviously the National Weather Service is scattered all over the place. Alright, we just got a new update from the drop zone from the National Hurricane Hunters. We are now at a 916 millibar low. That is a -7 millibar change since 8 p.m. after it finished, or 8 a.m. after it finished its eyewall replacement cycle. And our maximum flight level winds are 143 knots or 165 miles an hour. Give me a second while I update the overlay here. Alright, overlay should be updated. Yep, there we go. Yeah, it's weakening relatively fast. Part of that is just that it's expanding and getting bigger. A bigger eye normally has a higher pressure just because there's more area that that pressure gradient is interacting with. NS Train Guy. Can you please say NS Train Guy should eat a blueberry scone? Yeah, there you go. The easiest way to work for Ryan and IWC is to just be a mod in his Discord server. There's a ton of them, but we do have mod apps open occasionally. So if you have experience modding, go ahead and fill out an application, and we'll take a look at those every now and again when we need to onboard new mods. I wonder when our next update. Our next update has to be coming out any minute here. It's almost 3Z. You want to show Ode now? We'll do a little transfer. Oh, he's got his claws out. This is my other cat. This is Oreo. Obviously no one can figure out why he's named Oreo and what could have correlated to his name being Oreo. Drooling on me. That's okay. But yeah, these are the cats who are always fighting in the background at like 10 p.m. Yeah, Michael, today would be a great day to go deep sea fishing. You could probably get a really good bobber cast going on the northern side of the eye. Yeah, our water wedge is gone. Why does he smell like perfume? Oh. This is a very sweet smelling cat right now. Black and white fur? No, that's too simple. It's deeper than that. Smells like crazy perfume. He wants to... Never mind, maybe he wants to sit on my lap. No, he wants to be out. Oreo wants out. He wants to go fight with Chippy. Oh, now he's screaming. Michael, he is a Devon Rex. Both of them are Devon Rexes. Oreo actually has curly hair. I don't know if you can see that on stream, but pretty funny. Oreo kinda has curly hair too. Depends on how dirty he is. I thought I said Chippy has curly hair. Oh, I meant Chippy has curly hair. Yeah, they both do, but Chippy's hair is way curlier. Yeah. Joe, I don't know if there's other sites that have the 3D radar data or the 3D satellite data. There's probably a website out there somewhere, but now I got cat hair in my nose. How's it going, TN Valley Chasing? I have a peanut gallery down here now. What if I just like showed the peanut gallery? Did we already get a new Vortex data message? No, that's one that we already saw. Yeah, Chippy is definitely an orange cat. He loves screaming in my face at like 4 a.m. in the morning because he knows I wake up at the slightest bit of sound. Oh, we're gonna have another floating cat here. I don't think he appreciated that. I wonder if our other plane is on the way back in or if they're done for the day. Where are they? No, they're definitely going home. Yep. They're gonna go to the Air Force Base over here. Only got one plane out, that means. How's it going, Pisces? Yeah, the symmetry of the eye is insane. It's basically a perfect circle. Oh yeah, one thing that I'm being reminded to talk about is in the disaster areas, if you have T-Mobile, the FCC gave Starlink permission to start doing satellite to phone immediately. Immediately, they were gonna wait and do a bunch of other stuff and with it, but in the disaster areas, you can already get Starlink information on, or you can get connection through Starlink on a phone. In addition to that, if you have a iPhone 14 or newer with the newest iOS update, you can actually text off of satellite. So if you're in one of these areas that's about to get impacted by the storm, and you might have, or you might have no cell service for days, make sure that you have your phone up to date. So if you do need to make those emergency text messages and calls, you're able to. Not the SCC, the FCC. No, Milton's baby. Yeah, we'll call it Milton's baby. This is not a hurricane. This is not even a tropical storm. That's just Scud. Or Scuzz. Whatever you want to call it. I prefer Scuzz. Do you think they will keep it at a Category 5 intensity at 11? No, I don't think so. I'm assuming if it is a Category 5, it's going to be weaker than it is right now, maybe just barely a Category 5. I think they're probably going to downgrade it to a very high-end Category 4. But we'll see. I would not be shocked if it stays a Category 5. Steve, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Anytime. That's why we're here. We're here to answer questions and get everyone more informed on the storm. Soldier for God, the 185 miles an hour, that was a drop sonde that they dropped into the eye wall, and it registered surface level winds of 185 miles an hour. We don't know if that was sustained or a gust because there's really no way to tell, but at a minimum, there was some sort of 185 mile an hour winds in that eye wall. Ari, it doesn't weaken before a eye wall replacement, it weakens during one. So, once we see that eye wall replacement happen, that's when it's going to start to weaken substantially. Joe, I do not think it's going to get back up to a Category 5 tomorrow. There's just going to be too much wind shear and dry air that it has to fight around with. You really need to have quite the perfect environment for a Category 5 hurricane, and that's what it's been in so far when we saw it be a Category 5, and it's no longer going to be in a perfect environment. What's so funny? Can you see him? Yeah. My cat's back there. Oh. Right there. Yeah, I saw Max's video pop off. Oh, I just bumped my mic. Sorry if that was loud. Good night, Mom. Sleep well. Everyone say goodnight to my mom. I love water. Yeah, poor Milton's dying. Yeah, that's a good thing, though. We do not want to see a Category 5 make landfall, that's for sure. It's not looking much like it. It's still kind of looking like a face. Now it's looking like a face that's got road rash, but... It gets slow here when all we have to do is wait for this plane to fly back in, but... It's still... It's still fun to just sit here and watch this thing spin and spin and then spin some more. Yeah, his face is on fire, exactly. He's not having a good time. I can't wait to see like a TikTok later, like, oh my god, Hurricane Milton looked like a skull. It's gonna kill everyone in its path. The TikTok hurricane shit is like so mad annoying. Fishing Addict, I think Milton was its strongest yesterday. How would I even troll Max's stream though? What could I do to troll him? Naomi, I can't turn that on. That's actually not an option because on a mobile device, YouTube, or not YouTube, either Apple or Samsung wants to take a portion of that money, so it's weird. Sometimes they'll let you subscribe on a mobile device, but normally you have to do it on a computer. Or not subscribe, become a member. And I think it costs more on the on a mobile device. Fort Myers. You guys are right here. And your storm surge looks like this. I think you guys are just barely in the, you're basically right on the line here in this area between the 10 to 15 range and the 8 to 12 foot range. Either way, you guys are going to have substantial storm surge. So anywhere in the coastal regions of the area, you guys should not be there. You need to leave. Go north, go south, either way, just don't be here. I can't wait for the satellite coverage to be like here, so we can actually have something over Florida and it's not just nothingness. Yeah, we don't. I would actually be plenty happy if we never saw another Category 6 weird hurricane chick video on TikTok. She's so weird and she has no idea what she's talking about. Levy County, way up here, the northernmost extent of our hurricane warning. You are also under a storm surge warning. You guys are just looking at 2 to 4 feet, so nothing insane, nothing like you saw a couple of weeks ago. But either way, don't be near the ocean. Don't go in the ocean, especially. The currents are going to be ripping. If the central pressure rises a bit and if the wind field spreads, is it not likely that the ragged edges will consolidate into a rougher, cohesive Cat 2-3? No, that's not really how it works. As soon as a hurricane like gets big, there's no going back from that. It's only going to keep getting bigger and keep spreading out. In fire, if you're talking about the storm surge forecast, you can look up the National Hurricane Center. Go over to the Hurricane Milton page just by clicking on Hurricane Milton on that website. And they have a bunch of different information on there. They have the peak surge, the rainfall potential, flash flooding potential, along with the wind speed probabilities, arrival time of winds, a bunch of different stuff. Rampart Boulevard. I'll try and search it up, but I feel like there's probably a lot of those, so it might be hard to find. Looks like the only ones that are coming up are in Port Charlotte, so that's the area that we're going to talk about. Charlotte Harbor, you guys are looking at 8 to 12 feet of storm surge, and that's why you are under that storm surge warning so far inland for this region. In addition to that, you are under the very edge of our hurricane warnings. You're not going to get the most substantial wind speeds out of or from this hurricane, but either way, it's still going to be really, really windy and a lot of rain. That's been slipping my mind over and over again, but a good portion of the area is going to get a lot of rain. This is what the rainfall is going to look like. A widespread swath of over 10 inches of rain, a good amount of area getting 8 inches of rain, and obviously anywhere around here getting anywhere from 2 to 6. There is a high risk of excessive rainfall running from this area or running for this area, and that is not something that you see every day. It's really, really rare to see that, actually, and that only goes along with the most significant flash flooding events. Naomi, thank you so much for that $2.79 super chat. Thanks for watching today. I love answering these questions, and the more people's questions I get to answer, the better. Yeah, we can take a look at Spring Hill. Spring Hill, you guys are further off to the north. Your county is under a mandatory evacuation in addition to a hurricane warning and a storm surge warning. I believe you guys are looking at, yeah, up here 5 to 10 feet of storm surge, maybe a little more than that. It depends on where our hurricane ends up going. Anywhere in this blue, purplish, or purplish blue box here, there's going to be storm surge, so don't be in that area. And then, of course, the pink here, that is your hurricane warning. You're going to be seeing hurricane force winds and all that rain that we just talked about. That's fine. I'll grab it for you and pass it over. Yeah, you guys are going to get a massive refilling. There ain't going to be no drought after this thing. Dave, there is a chance that it moves further south. We can take a look at our cone of uncertainty. This is our expected track right now. It's not going to get all the way down to the tip of Florida, but we could see the eye of the hurricane go anywhere in this track. So the furthest south it would go is the Cape Coral area. We're not going to see it go any further south than that, but either way, you guys are going to be getting tropical storm force winds all over through here. Yeah, Krista, I can look that up if I can spell it. Oh God, Thono-to-Sasa. Definitely pronounced that wrong. You guys are in the Tampa Bay area. You're not quite in the storm surge warning, but you're still in that hurricane warning. Expect a ton of rain and yeah, a ton of rain, ton of wind. Probably some of the stronger winds that we're gonna see from this storm. You guys still use Zello? Yeah, we use Zello for most of our Storm Chaser communications. Also, I think I saw someone ask how many monitors I have. I have 4 monitors. On the sides, I have 2 vertical monitors, and then I have 2 horizontal monitors stacked above each other. Yeah, I need the yaw bot right now. Andrea, it's not gaining power anymore. It looks like it's starting to weaken. Our last pressure update was 916 millibars, which is quite a bit weaker than where we saw it over here. I can't click on it because the Hurricane Hunters line goes right over the top of it, but it is weakening. Oh, someone's trying to print. That's probably really loud and really annoying. I apologize. Oh, my cat's back too. Yeah, when I first started streaming way back when I was streaming on Twitch, I only had an iPad and 1 monitor. That one came out bent for some reason. Two monitors is like the perfect number of monitors. Unless you're doing something insane like this where I have a bunch of different streaming stuff going on, you really don't need more than 2 monitors. Mark, it could gain power, but it's probably not likely. I mean, anything that does gain, it's just going to be momentarily. It's going to mainly be on a weakening trend from here on out, but it wouldn't be unreasonable to see it maybe gain a millibar here and there, but nothing substantial. I can actually take a picture of my setup real quick. Kind of messy right now because I have a bunch of stuff going on science-wise, but I'll take a picture of it and show that. Gotta get the mic in there. We did just get our new advisory, so we'll get that in a second here. But before that, we'll take a look at this picture. It'll take a second for that update to post anyways. Alright. This is what my setup looks like. Of course, you gotta have the lights, so I don't look white. I do look very white because I have blue light from my monitors, but it helps with the lighting. This over here, that's our rocket probe. Yeah, I don't think you guys can really see that, but it's down there. Over here, this is my 3D printer. I have to have it on my desk because I got nowhere else to put it. Got the mic, got the keyboard, and then obviously the 4 monitors. What stream software are you using? This is OBS Studio. Still Cat 5. Slightly surprising, but also not surprising at the same time. See if that updated here. Alright, it looks like our minimum central pressure, they're agreeing with what we have above with that 915 millibars. We're gonna wait for Radar Omega to update here. I'm gonna start updating this. What time did we get this update? We're gonna call it 9:45. So 21:45 CDT. Minimum pressure 915 millibars. No, I don't get any college credit for what I'm doing here. Tyler, they're all 27-inch monitors. Nope. Radar Omega still hasn't updated here. I'd appreciate it if the new dot wouldn't go immediately in the line. So we are 5 mile per hour weaker, but we are still, or sustained we are, we're at 160 mile an hour sustained and 200 mile per hour gusts. Game of Drones, this is just other convection going on. It's not associated, well, it is kind of associated with Hurricane Helene. It's part of this band over here that's in a more favorable environment to convex, so that's why that's blowing up. What's the end goal? Honestly, the end goal is maybe to be doing this full-time someday. That'd be awesome. Never planning on stopping what I'm doing for Ryan and doing my own thing, but it'd be nice to be able to have my own spot to stream outside of the streams for Ryan. Coral Isle Golf Centers in Naples. I think we can literally get exactly there. It's not coming up. We can just talk about Naples, though. Naples, you guys are... Really, Radar Omega? You think I'm talking about Italy? No, we're talking about Florida. Naples, you're down here. You're only in the tropical storm warning. However, you are still going to be dealing with surge. You guys will be looking at a... Oh, I clicked off of it. That's not very helpful. We're going to get a new graphic here in a second for what sort of storm surge you guys can be looking at. But, as of the last update, you guys were looking at that 5 to 8 feet of storm surge, and that's why you find yourselves under a storm surge warning. Temporal, we just had the next major update. Here it is right here. Maximum wind gusts of 200 miles an hour, 160 mile an hour sustained winds, and a pressure of 915 millibars. Griffin, that's awesome. I didn't hear about that, but that's totally super cool. If this plane leaves and heads home, that's probably going to be it for the stream, just because there's going to be nothing to talk about. We're not going to get any new forecast advisories, no fly-throughs on it, so just a heads up that it might be nearing the end. Obviously, we have a very, very long stream tomorrow. We're planning on being live from 3 p.m. to like at least 3 a.m. tomorrow on Ryan's channel. So that's going to take a lot of effort, and that's something that you need to be well rested for, especially with how late it gets. Dang, when will it make landfall? Corey, it's making landfall at 2 a.m. on Thursday. Maybe a few hours before that, maybe a few hours after, but somewhere around that mark. Good night, Steve. Thanks for watching. No, Snappy. This is actually not a measurement of wind speeds at all. This is temperatures on satellite. So the blues over here, those are your warmest temperatures, and as you move further in, that is the lower temperature. DC Bennett, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Yeah, it's really not weakening that fast. I think it's not going to substantially weaken until it goes through an eyewall replacement. I wonder how many of you, or how many people here are from Ryan's channel, and how many people you just picked up because YouTube saw some random channel have an update in viewers and be like, oh, who's this guy? Maybe we should send some people his way. Stay blessed. This is your third super chat today. That's like the definition of quite literally insane. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Any info on Leslie? Yeah, we can take a look at Leslie real quick. Let me pull up Tropical Tidbits. So Leslie is over here in the Atlantic. It ain't really gonna do nothing much. It's going to basically shortly become a hurricane and be flung off to sea, never to be seen again. Jared, you're a random viewer? Huh? I swore I've seen you before. From Ryan's videos and not the stream. That's kind of funny, honestly. I wonder what video did you even get recommended, or was my live stream from last night? Because I didn't post a video about this storm just because there was so much misinformation being posted in the comment sections. I chose to stream instead and then just delete or turn off the comments so people couldn't comment anything stupid while I wasn't looking and couldn't address it. Stay Blessed says, I sent the super chat for your full-time endeavors. Thank you so much for answering your questions. Yeah, for sure. That's why we're here. The more information we can share, the better. Paula, thank you so much for subscribing. Yeah, Corey, Ryan, a lot of what he does is he just talks about the storm going on. I try and do a lot more, especially with hurricanes, just a lot more Q&A, because there's a lot of people who are worried about where they're at, and it's important to have that conversation too. And then Obviously, that's a little harder with tornado warnings, but that's so much more localized that the only people who need to be worried are the people that you're talking about, anyways. Aiden, you've been here for like ever. You've been here since the Twisted streams, which I think we're gonna do those again soon. The Twisted streams are fun. My Q&A is superior. I feel like that's because that's basically like this entire stream. That's all we've been doing. Like, I don't know. I feel like you can just like I could just talk about this endlessly for like hours on hours, but that means I'm never really addressing anyone's specific concerns. And if the whole point is to inform people, I feel like it's easier to just answer questions. David Kane, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I believe your education path forward as well. I believe in your education path forward as well as your and appreciate your help at Ryan Hall, y'all. Yeah, hey, thank you so much for the money. One of the really interesting things that I want to do for my or in terms of education once I get my degree is figure out what we can do to better understand storm surge and have more live information on that. I actually already have designed a live storm surge depth pressure. I just need to make it. But scientific equipment is expensive. But eventually I'll do that and get around to that. But it's not that complicated, but it's just all sorts of stuff costs money. And money is like the big issue when it comes to science is getting money. We also have the rockets, obviously, that took those are not cheap to design. I can't wait for the day when I get my own house and can fly a car dealership sized American flag in the eye wall of a hurricane. That would be awesome. David, the storm surge sensor is going to cost like $150. There's like a $50 computer goes in it. There's a giant pipe on it, two different pressure sensors, and then obviously just a battery backup and a cell backup. It's probably going to be more than $150 just because you have to pay for cell service and stuff too. It's not too much, but $150 is a lot of money when you're in college. Yeah, Milton is maxing right now. The biggest jawline of all time. My mission is to predict tornadoes. Yeah, I feel like it's always going to be really hard, at least with what we know right now, to predict tornadoes. But sooner or later, we're going to get more information on how to betterly forecast tornadoes. Are you using a Raspberry Pi? Yeah, that's the plan. It's really easy to connect pressure sensors to those and write Python scripts on them. So yeah, that's probably what we're gonna get, Mighty. Either that or just a Raspberry Pi doesn't take that much pressure or that much power, and neither do the pressure sensors. So we don't even need that big of a battery, and it's not. We can probably just wire it directly to a DC battery. It's just getting all the equipment and figuring out exactly what the best solution is. Genuine Vibes, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Says, see y'all tomorrow. Get rest. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Great message right there. The best thing you can do is don't react poorly and just think things through, especially if you're in the path of a hurricane. Think slowly, think concise, and carefully and safely get out of the way. Yeah, I have a Raspberry Pi Model 3B, so those ones are cheaper, but the other ones, like the newer ones, those are more expensive. David, I don't have a Patreon, but I do have like a PayPal link, a Venmo link, and a Cash App link in the description. Don't feel the need to donate though. Stephanie, these are just other convection that's going on. Nothing like a hurricane, nothing like a tropical storm. It's just some other convection. This is gonna bring more rain to Florida ahead of even Hurricane Milton. So that pre-soaking is going to be a little concerning in terms of how how significant it's going to be. It does look like, unfortunately, our hurricane hunters are going home, and I don't think there's another mission coming out anytime soon. Where's this pointing at? Oh yeah, they're basically already back. And those are the only two planes that we've had update recently. So it looks like the planes are going home. Yeah, Hayden, they use Raspberry Pis. There's others, like a ton of different custom stuff that are plugged into them, but that's the base of it. Yeah, Jared found my PayPal link. Jared always finds the links. Jared's the link master. We need more Hurricane Hunter planes. Can you talk about what the East Coast impacts will be? Well, in terms of the East Coast of Florida, we're going to have the wind impacts all along the East Coast of Florida. And then all the way up to here, we're under a tropical storm watch. And then we also have a storm surge watch. So it's going to be a little more questionable how strong the storm surge is in this region. But you're still looking at anywhere from a 2 to 4 foot storm surge all the way up to Edisto Beach, and then north from Edisto Beach to the South Sanity River, you're looking at 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. Anywhere in this region, you're looking at 3 to 5 feet, and then down here, 1 to 3 feet. Oh my God, no way. David just donated $150. I need every single person in the chat thanking David over and over again, because we can actually build this storm surge sensor now. I'll probably honestly have it by next week, and hopefully working 2 weeks from now. We might even get to use it this year. I can give it to Caleb and he can deploy it somewhere, but I'll make a community post with it in the next month, hopefully, showing how it works and that I do in fact have it. That's going to be awesome. We talked about that a little bit last night, but now we actually get to make it. Ooh, Storm Chaser Griffin, shame on the V. Someone failed to copy paste. David, I can't tell you enough how much that means to me. It's basically like my whole dream is to be able to do this science stuff like this, and actually having the money to do it and make it possible is really, really special. Read David's message. Where was David's message? I saw there we go, and then I have engineers that I'll always make available if you would need. These are software engineers. Yeah, I'm decently good with Python, and I'm gonna try to code the program as much of by myself as I can. I think the hardest part is just going to be the math behind it, because there's a lot of math. But it's easy to, it's not that hard to figure out. I mean, it's not an absurd concept to measure water depth with a pressure device. So, yeah. Yeah, Griffin, you heard me say storm surge probe, and David just funded the storm surge probe. So it's happening. We have to come up with a name for the storm surge probe. That can be the last thing we do tonight, is what are we going to name this storm surge probe? Yeah, we could have a David rocket. We could have a David storm surge probe. My rocket's over here, sitting on the floor. I have to order another coupler for it. Christine, we won't be live here when it makes landfall, but we'll be live on the Ryan Hall Y'all channel. Hi. What are you doing? Oh, already? Kidding. No, I'm probably going to bed soon too. The hurricane hunters are going to bed. There's gonna be nothing to talk about till tomorrow. I don't think I could even 6 a.m. tomorrow. I guess we're staying live until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Oh, thank you. David Dive-In, that's a good one. Where's the kitty? Just saw Oreo. Where'd he go? Oh, I can't wake him up if he's sleeping. He's sleeping. I don't want to wake him up. He's sleeping. He's peaceful by the fire. What? Yeah, you can print. I would love if you could do a Millibar 101 crash course for us. Oh, we have another floating cat. This is Oreo. Basically, I have a cat on my shoulder. Oh, I now have a million snags in my shirt. Basically, pressure is a way that we can measure how strong these storms are. Cat says hi. Pressure is a way that we can figure out how strong these storms are because the pressure gradient is what creates the winds. If we take a look at the pressure readings from the if we take a look at the pressure readings from the aircraft, we can see here we're at 915 millibars, 912, and then it slowly goes up. So our area of high pressure over here and our area of low pressure over here, the wind is going to flow from the area of high pressure to low pressure. Just one note, this is old recon data. We don't have a clockwise spinning hurricane. It's spinning the other direction. But when the hurricane was here, the eye was over here. So that's why we have the wind flow in that direction. But the lower the pressure in the center of the hurricane, the more air that's going to be moving towards that area of low pressure, and the stronger that hurricane is going to be. You live at the weather house? No, I live in Wisconsin. Hurradave? Now that might be a great name. Press Surge? That is a good one. Press Surge might have to be the name. Riley Able Surge? Is it not printed? Oh. It's spinning backwards, yeah. We got the first Northern Hemisphere clockwise hurricane. Category 6 confirmed. Is there a mathematical limit on hurricane? Yes. I don't remember. Typhoon Tip, that was basically as strong as a storm will ever get. What happens if two hurricanes run into each other or cross paths? We'll never like smash into each other and blow up, but what we do see happen is we'll have two hurricanes out there and one will orbit around the other. If you guys have watched Twisters, you know what that effect's called. Someone here will know what that effect's called, and I'm going to leave it up to you guys to figure out what it's called. Someone has to know it. I'm sad that the hurricane hunters left because now we really have nothing to talk about, so that's like my last sign that it's time to wrap things up. We need to find Ryan's song though, because yeah, there we go. The Fujiwara effect. Griffin was the first person to get it. All right, I need to find it. Yep, Fujiwara effect. I found it. Donate so we can make Mr. Dibble full time. I mean, hey, doing this full time would like quite literally be the dream. Alright guys, I hate to end it here, but with the Hurricane Hunters leaving and no one else going out for the time being, there's going to be nothing else to talk about. Thank you to all of the new subscribers and members and everyone who donated today. There's been a ton of you. Like, a absolute ton of you. So, thank you to everyone. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.